live, baby. We live. We lit, baby. We lit. Can everybody come on in with me? Let me see what everybody is saying. Yeah, family tree. I'm just gonna wait for everybody to just kind of flow in. We're gonna do a quick show, not too long. What we're gonna do is actually, let me do it right now. Actually, let me add a link into. Ooh, no, that's not the link. I'm gonna add a link into it so I can invite you guys to come on in and have some fun with us. Like it's an open conversation with you guys on Christianity and Kemet. Yeah, Christianity and Kemet in particular. But if you guys would like to actually discuss other things, we can, say, oh, that's a good topic. Yeah, next show we can discuss that. But for now, we're going to discuss Christianity and Kemet. Of course, we've got a debate coming up very soon with good brother Garfield and Jabari. Okay. And the debate is actually titled something along the lines: did Christianity stole from Kemet, copied from Kemet, stole from Kemet? Interesting. Very, very interesting. So what I will do is what's probably present two sides of the arguments, um because do I want to give my own personal view, No, I don't want to give my own personal view. Actually, I rather try to stimulate some type of conversation on it, some type of debate on it, and we can take it from there. But yeah, this show is going to be like a real quick show. It's not even going to be long. It's going to be like a real quick ones to get you guys involved, because I know a lot of you guys been saying like, yeah, like I wanted to come on and have a conversation, and have a discussion, and have debates and so forth. So we're going to do that. We're going to actually get you guys on to actually come on and join in. This is streamed via StreamYard, so all it is simply clicking the link and you can come on in. Yeah, real quick, real easy, real simple, but it's just a nice little quick one. Just kind of get you guys like interactive. Okay, it says here Kemet from Bob B. There's Kemet copied from Christianity. Boy, all religions are man-made. Boy, it says Lee Solo. Yeah. So if you would like to, you lot can stay in the comment section, but you lot can actually come on in and have this conversation, right? Because it's an all right conversation. It's an all right conversation. All right. So it seems as though like Jabari, and when I want to say all of the Kemetic community, there is a good number of individuals within inside of the Kemetic community draws on the mythicism. Okay, so there is within side of academia dealing with Bible and biblical criticism and things of that nature. There is two schools of thoughts, right? There is the link. You simply click the link. There you go. Here's the link, StreamYard link. Okay, it should be in the comment section. Sure to see it. I should pin it up somehow. Let's see if I can pin it, and then you lot can kind of join on in. Right, show. There you go. There's the link right there. Okay, let me hide it because you lot can come on in. Right. Okay. So yeah. So there's two schools of thoughts that Jesus is a historical person. You can find within side of this whole collection of stories within inside of the first century, you can find a kernel of truth of the historicity of Jesus. But then there's another school saying, no, it's all myth, mate. It's all man-made. I don't know what you're talking about, mate. There ain't no Jesus that walked on water. What man, walk on water? It's all coming from astrotheology and all that good stuff. Okay? So let's just get you guys in. Solo up here with us right now. What's good?
Hey, what's up, brother? How you doing?
I'm good. Same sound coming in and out. Wait, let me just bring. I think I'm speaking loud enough. Let me go. Turn up the mic. I've turned up the mic. So you lot should be hearing me loud and clear now. Okay, go Truly.
Yeah, so real quick, I'm at work, so I probably won't be on here for too long, but I just wanted to jump in. So I just wanted to say shout out, brother Jabari. He's pretty much woken my eyes pretty much a lot to this. Pretty much all religions are just man-made. Especially when you study the Kemet, the Kemet studies, and you'll realize that us as African people, we already had cultures before this so-called religion pretty much came onto the scene. So the way how I view it is just that, how can the people who've already had cultures and spiritual, practices then be given a book, and then we're just supposed to forget all about that. So I don't really support, Islam, Christianity, none of the religions that that most people follow, because if you just study history, especially when you go back into the early 7th century, BC, then you'll just understand that a lot of that stuff was forced upon people, and no God has ever came down from the heavens to validate one religion over the other. So why should I believe in any religion when we all know that they're just man-made and they're used to control the masses?
Jeez, bombs. Just dropped a bomb right there. So listen, family tree. Yeah, you heard what the good brother Lee just said. All religions are man-made. No God has come down to validate any one of these religions. What you got to say about that? What you got to say about that? I want to hear somebody. I want to hear people. Come on in. Yeah, let's have a discussion. Come on in and let's have a discussion. Remember, we're not here for a long time, but we're here for a good time. Okay? So again, okay? A lot of the people inside of the Kemetic community hold on to the mythicism point of view that Jesus and Christianity is a mythical religion, meaning it's made up of stories, of legends, myths, telling like metaphorical stories, etc. It's not actually real. None of these things are actually real. There was no man named Jesus that walked on earth. No, sorry, there's no man called Jesus that walked on water, not even simply walked on earth. Okay, that's the claim. All right. And then, of course, Christianity, or Christians in general, and the majority of the Christian scholars will clearly say, no, there is a historical Jesus. Although there are legends or myths within inside of the Bible, or within inside of the New Testament, within inside of the gospel writings, there is actually a kernel of truth. We can sift through and we can find, historical we can find the historical Jesus. There really was a man called Jesus, or Yeshua, yeah, that lived in Galilee, preached in Jerusalem, got arrested and executed by the Romans, etc. Like there is something like that took place. There was some truth with there being a preacher and a teacher that came and did these certain things. I can't say the miraculous. They don't claim the miraculous things, but he was some form of revolutionary that got himself killed. Okay, so there is something like the historical Jesus. Let me see. We got man like Ultra Funky up in the building. He drops a little super chat, so I love Ultra. Always there dropping the supers. It says God, aka Sky Daddy, is a fairy tale for grown-ups. Lord God, Jesus, Jehovah Jireh, Allahu Akbar, Buddha, Confucius. Easy. Aye. Listen, where's my Christians at? Where's my religious folks at? Don't have it from Ultra. Ultra's trying to come and screw up the whole thing right now. You say, let me cause the controversy to fly. All right, Mr. Morpheus, talk to me, King.
Peace. What's up, family?
Good,
Where you
good,
been?
good.
Ain't seen you in a long time. You back, huh?
No. Now, hibernation's been sweet, It's been nice staying away from everybody, but
I don't blame you. Yeah, I don't blame you. Yeah, let me chime in. Give my thoughts real quick on this subject about Kemet and Christianity.
Mhm.
Right. Here's my issue with this argument. For those who say there's no connection. So watch this now. So in one breath, this is what happened. One breath, you say the Israelites, not you, but they say the Israelites or Hebrews was in Kemet according to biblical narrative, according to them, for 430 something years, right? Give or take. Okay, so that's around over 20 something generations, right? Keep in mind now, this is over 20 something generations that they're in Kemet, Israelites or Hebrews, according to their narrative. Now, the so-called Hebrews, the same people now, are the disciples and people. These are the same exact people. So why is it such a far-fetched to believe that they didn't borrow, or anything from their own mouth, that they've been in the land for 20 something generations? So it means 27 generations. That means they would have been influenced or learned the culture, some of the mythological stories, or whatever it may be. So so to say that there's no connection between Christianity and Kemet makes no sense if we follow their own narrative that they've been there for over 20 something generations.
You know what? Let me critique that though. All right, I hear what you're saying, but now wouldn't that be down to Judaism has now been influenced by Kemet, possibly borrowed from Kemet rather than Christianity? Because Judaism and Christianity,
yes,
things.
I would agree with you. But remember now, Judaism, right, is the root of Christianity, because Christianity comes out of Judaism. If Judaism comes out of, like you said, is borrowed or been influenced by Kemet, and Christianity, right, origins and so forth comes out of Judaism, you have a connection.
Mm-hmm. So, but okay, so you have a connection, but can you actually make the claim that Christianity directly copied from Kemet rather than just following in the traditions of Judaism? If that makes any sense.
No, not directly, but I'll give you a perfect example. I'm in here in America, okay? We've been here in America 400 something years or more, but over 400 years. Today, we know about Santa Claus, Easter, and all these traditions and all these things that's in our everyday life that we practice today, right? But watch it don't come from us, but because we've been in this land for that period of time, those traditions and mythological stories have influenced us now. So all you have to do is just look at today. Unless you're telling me the people of ancient times is different, right? You know what I mean? Unless people are saying that. But again, if Christianity origins actually is connected to Judaism, and Judaism is connected, according to their narrative, to Kemet, then you have a pipeline. Now, I'm not saying it's direct, but you definitely got a pipeline.
Okay. So, in your estimation, what would you say that Christianity copied from Kemet?
What would I say? Copied. I'm not sure. Well, with resurrection, okay, let's take resurrection stories, virgin births. It's a number of things that I could say that I can point to Kemet and show those same things. But to answer your question about a direct, no, I wouldn't say direct, but I can see the pipeline.
Yeah, I hear that.
Yes,
I hear the pipeline.
That's all I'm trying to say. So for the people who say that there's no connection, I just don't understand how they say there's no connection when according to their own narrative, they've been in Egypt for over 400 something years.
I can definitely hear the pipeline argument, the influence argument, but the direct copying now, even when we come to resurrection, even when it comes to virgin birth, I don't think Kemet even has that.
You don't think that
Kemet has a resurrection?
Yeah. Do you read Meta Nature? I do. I can show you text. Yeah. I can literally show you text. But the question.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you this question. So resurrection, okay, is, let me get it. Let me actually make sure that I'm actually saying something correct. Let me quickly type in resurrection in the dictionary so we can all be on an equal playing field. Let me see. Dictionary meaning.
Okay. All right.
It says here resurrection. Okay. In the Christian religion, the resurrection is Jesus Christ returned to life on the third day after his death, or the return of all people to life at the end of the world. The act or fact of bringing someone back to life or bringing something back into use or existence. Okay. In the Christian religion,
Mm.
resurrection is Jesus Christ returned to life after his death. So, is there anywhere within inside of the Kemetic philosophy, the Kemetic traditions, right, where a human being, yeah, dies and comes back on the third day, or dies and comes back to life?
When you say copy, see, this where the problem comes in at, because
Mhm.
when we say copied, right, it's not a word for word thing. You know what I mean? It's like what, and that's where the argument comes at with a lot of people. Because when someone says copied, they're looking like a Xerox copy, that it's the same exact thing, the very same exact thing, point for point, blah, 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 blah. No changes whatsoever. Right. So if
Mhm.
you say that, then I would have to agree with you and say, no, it's not copied. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's not, you follow what I'm trying to say? It's not
Yep.
copied, if you mean as far as that's concerned. So we get into, you know, particulars, when someone says copied. It's like, okay, we gotta really narrow in on what do we mean when we say copied.
My good brother Heru El Ra. My brother, please come on in, man. Come on in. Come on in. Yeah,
I'll let
you're
him jump in.
dropping.
Let him jump in. Let me take this phone call real quick, but I'm here, brother.
Stay here.
Uh,
Stay here. Stay here. Yeah, yeah. Heru, yeah, jump on in, man, because it looks like you got some stuff. Shaka, jeez, my good brother. If you want to jump on in. But the ping was good. Listen, everybody, the link is in the description. This show is actually for you guys. I'm not gonna be here for a long time. I already said it before. We're here for a good time, but not a long time. I'm literally dedicating this show for you guys to come on in, discuss this Kemetic stuff and Christianity stuff. And if you've got any other proposals that you would like for us to do, like nice little weekly discussion / debate show where you guys can come in, we choose a topic and actually, debate and discuss it. Let's do this, baby. Let's do it. Let's do it. Big up to Anna Ball. Was good, King. Was good. Okay. Because, the claim yet again, yeah, like I'm hearing the claim. I'm a person that I love Kemet. I deal with Kemetic philosophy, right? But a lot of the claims that are being made, yeah, I don't know if we can substantiate it. I don't know. Virgin birth in Kemet. I don't even know if we can substantiate that. A virgin birth in Kemet? A virgin birth in Kemet. Okay, first and foremost, I always thought that Kemetic philosophy was very science based, natural philosophy. Science, what can we prove with inside of nature? What can we prove inside of nature? And a virgin, somebody who has not had sex, not had sexual intercourse, has not had coitus. I don't know if Kemet taught something like that personally, okay? Because Kemet was pro nature. What's happening in the natural environment? What can we observe? Scientific method. And that to me is not a Kemetic story. Unless somebody else can say it was. Someone says, Buddha
that's a
says,
good
wasn't
point.
Horus born of a virgin? No. Mba. Mba no. Remember the story of Osiris and Horus. I'm sorry, Osiris and Isis, right? They were the king and queen. They were married. When you get married, chase. That kind of happens still, I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna lie. Let me stop. Let me stop. That kind of happens, when you're doing the dirty and that, yeah. It kind of happens still. You break up the whole house. Yeah, you're doing that. And they were married, and he was called the good king. So he reigned for a considerable long time. So I don't know if she was a virgin. I don't recall them saying that she was a virgin. Immaculate conception, I don't recall that. I don't recall that. But there was a somewhat miraculous circumstance where the birth took place. There was a miraculous circumstance, yeah, but never a virgin. Never a virgin. But remember, I'm just a man. I'm just a man. I'm lying. I'm not just a man, but for everybody else, I'm just a man. Remember, I deal with Kalam supremacy. And I think but anyways, I'm just a man. Let's just hold on to that. I'm just a man. So I can be wrong. I can be wrong. If anybody else from the Kemetic community, yeah?
I got
If anybody else from the Kemetic community,
let me
come on
drop
in.
something in it. Let me
Come
drop
on in.
something in if I can. All right.
Uh-huh.
Can I speak for a second?
Yeah, yep.
Right. Okay, so when I talk about this word copy, right, I give a perfect example. Well, let me give a perfect example. I myself won a lawsuit, right? Watch this, right? As a musician, I got a lawsuit that I won in court where someone copied my material. They didn't play it note for note, word for word, songs, but they copied, right? They changed it a little bit, but it was proven that they copied my material. But this is why I'm getting particular on the word copy. Are we saying this is a exact duplicate, an exact, Xerox copy, or
Mhm.
are the principles or fundamentals of your, say, composition, you know what I mean,
I'm with
taken
you.
and then remixed a little bit, or things, changed a little bit. However, the root of it and the fundamental foundation of it is this. You know what I mean? That's why I
Mhm.
say when we talk about copy, we really got to slow the conversation down and say, hold up, what do we really mean when we say copy? Because copy means different things to different people. You know what I mean? It,
Mhm.
it can mean different things. So for me, I'm that kind of person where I say, hold up, let's slow it down and let's understand what do you mean when you say copy? You know what I mean?
Mhm. Yep. I'm with you. I'm with you on that. So, we can see, let's just say we can take the themes, there's certain themes or undertones within inside of the Kemetic stories that may have influenced or is apparent within inside of the Jesus story. We can say something like that. Let's just say something like that.
Mhm.
Good. Oh, there
Agreed.
we go. Reggie's there. There we go. So
There you
let's
go.
here we go. So let's see. In terms of the virgin story, what part of the virgin story of Jesus is similar? Let's not say copy, similar to the Kemetic story. What do we have anything that's similar? Apart from it being somewhat odd, somewhat odd, because
Well,
we don't have, for example, Mary transfiguring like Isis did into a bird and then resting upon the body or the phallus of Asara. We don't have that taking place within inside of the Christian story, but one could say that the Holy Spirit appears as a dove within inside one of the Gospels and alights upon Jesus, but it's not the same thing because now we're changing positions as such. Mary now becomes the Holy Spirit. I don't know. I can't see the similarity at all.
Well, you don't have to see the similarity. The similarity is syncretism. Syncretism is where stories are exchanged and borrowed, and then they rechanged. In the time of how can I say the in the time before writing, the way messages got across was by audiences and by plays. So the Jesus story is a play, and the ancient Egyptian story was also a play. This is something that would be done in markets, told by and then people would try to say, well, show who could tell the best story. The ancient Egyptian story is not meant to be true. It's meant to show some values and and show the culture and the but the ancient and the Christian story uh, was also that, and it became true. And you see different storytellers in the Bible itself telling the same story, different ways, right? They weren't there. None of the apostles or disciples was there. Uh, so, who is the author of the original story? So what they do is like Alibaba and the 40 Thieves and Islamic stories, they borrow things from each other. But if you want to believe that they're true, then you are a fool because it wasn't meant to be. It meant to be true. So now, once we know it's a play or a story, and all plays, depending on the actors and the nuances, change. Um, Later, you have people who want to believe the stories, the mythical stories of religion that are true. They weren't there. We don't know who the original seers were. And then we live in 2022, so you know that people are fools to believe every word. It's like Paul talking about Jesus. He never met Jesus. He never seen Jesus' work, as Morpheus tells you, right? He never seen Jesus' crucifixion. He got a vision. And then all of a sudden he gets to write about Jesus. So what are we arguing? Are we arguing that these stories are true? Then I'm dealing with some fools. If we're arguing about cultural exchanges from one group or another, then we can
Hmm.
have a conversation. But
Exactly.
if you're going to sit up here and tell me that you remember something that you both did, not Morpheus, but Titan, you did when you were 7 years from the morning that you woke up, right? To the time that you went on one day, and you're gonna lie to me and tell me that you remember that. And even the best storyteller without writing is going to tell me that they remember something from that time period. Right? Who witnesses
And
Christ's crucifixion? Who
hey,
witnesses? Who witnessed? Which Bible writer witnessed Christ's crucifixion? They did not. They did not come.
right.
Facts. Facts. Hold on, let me quickly give a shout out to everybody who's tuned in right now. Carbon Empty Unct. Salute to you, Queen. Android user says, teach, Dr. Reggie, teach. LB says, Passy no shh. Everyone and their mom says that. Okay, so let's go into this. All right, I'm going to go back into the question. The question now is, if the Kemetic stories, if the Christian stories are copied from the Kemetic stories, or if there is a copying taking place from Christianity to Kemet, or from Kemet to Christianity, what was copied from Kemet that made its way into Christianity? What? One thing can we say was copied? And that's open up to everybody in the panel and in the comment section. And after you say it, I want you to provide your evidence.
Okay. For me, first part I want to know is let's identify, let's really clarify copied. That word copied. Can you please look up and can we please identify copied exactly before we go on? Because like I said, copied means different things to different people.
Because the original debate that's going on with what's his name, with Jabari and good brother Garfield, is that it's stole. So it's even something that is even more tantalizing. But let's go for copy. Let me see if I can share my screen real quickly. Give me a hot second. Screen share. There we go. Let's go. Share screen. Let's go for a window. Nope. Let's go for a tab. Boom. There we go. So copy. They've copied. Okay, to produce something so that it is the same as an original piece of work. To produce something so that it is the same as an original piece of work. They've copied the basic design from the Japanese model and added a few of their own refinements. Okay?
Ah,
Here we go. Patricia going to copy her novel onto a flash drive and send it to me. He was always copying from or of other students. So let's go with the first one and the explanation, which is they've copied the basic design and then added their own refinement. Sorry. Yes, we're gonna go with that. Are we good to go
okay.
with that?
Okay, okay. That's interesting. That's good. That's good. That's good. I know you. I'm glad you did that. So
Yep.
if they took from the original design and then added to it, right, something
Hmm.
that was not in the original design, right, then by default, it's not really copied because it's not identical. You know what I mean?
Not a carbon copy.
Right.
Hmm. So the question is then: so if they've copied but added or refined the idea a little bit more, what can we say did they copy and refine? What? Name one thing.
Well, um, you have to. You have to. Well, I'm not a proponent of that they copied. They fused the Persian story, and you have to understand that this is happening actually in the post Persian world, right? They're speaking Aramaic, correct?
Hmm.
Mm. There's the Targums, right, which was scriptures that were Hebrew scriptures that supposedly in Aramaic, right? Am I right? And so, if we look at there's more evidence that they borrowed particular information from the Persians, right? The Persian god, whatever his name is, I forgot, Mithra or something like that, right? But then, did the Persians originally, when they were in Egypt, borrow stuff from Egypt to make their position,
And
right?
that's the pipeline. That's the pipeline I
Darius,
was talking about.
Darius and Xerxes and all of these people
There you
are
go.
in Egypt and Hibis. So do they borrow things from the Egyptian concept to create their concept? And then when you have these uh, uh, these Hebrews living in post-Persia times, exposed to the plays, the mysteries plays of both groups of people, do you have a copying of plays, of stories, right? So those two can argue back and forth about things that maybe they both don't know because I have more knowledge that even the Egyptian stories were created from the Nakata and Nubian people to create theirs. So are we arguing whose play is better? Or are we trying to argue reality? So if I can look at Nubian and Nakata civilization and see concepts of women, concepts of marriage, concepts of how can I say a- anthropomorphic movement between if I could see things like how can I say fertility or a goddess called Bat who becomes a goddess. I mean, that becomes head Heru. Titan TV, you my brother, man. We walked. Both of you walked with me. Both of you walked with me in the museums, in the Metropolitan Museum of Art. We saw lots of composites.
Hmm.
I for one is uh I know that Jabari studies religiously this material, and I respect my brother Jabari. I don't think he knows enough about Nubian Nakata A, because if he did, he would not necessarily he would know that that faith was borrowed, those concepts was borrowed from another culture, but he might accept the Catholic. What do you call it, Morpheus? When you accept if he may be a Catholic Kemetic or a Baptist Kemetic, or he's accepting one doctrine.
Mm.
Garfield is accepting another uh, doctrine. Not that he is a practicing Christian, but he's accepting the fact that even if Christ, Jesus walked the earth, he wasn't the Son of God. He was a figure that people gave some, that people saw some signs, though he really didn't do anything great
They made a
besides.
legend.
Huh?
They made a legend. They made a legend out of the guy. If there was a guy, they made a legend out of him.
Hold on. Wait a minute. Hold on. Christians, I need my Christian community to come on in, right? Christians, if you're tuned in right now, right, I need you lot to come in and defend your faith, baby. And even better, if you've got some academic background with you, come on in, baby. Come on in. Because right about now, everybody's taking shots at your particular faith. What am I feeling? I feel like Sarnetta right now. Why do I feel like I'm hyping up like some like I'm moving that way, you know? I'm feeling it. Yeah, goddamn. I'm here to bring the controversy. Let's get it, baby. Let's get it. Woo!
I have to put on my glasses.
Can I come up? Can you? Listen, this is who I need to get on in. Listen, the link is being shared, yeah? I've been waiting for you. I've been waiting for you at the door. Yeah? Let me get my brother Cosmic in. Let me get it. Because Cosmic, or should I say Cosmic, you know what? One thing about this brother, yeah, very well educated. Very well educated. I'll put that out there. Let's get it. He had me going back and be like, let me quickly do research on certain things that he was saying. But I'm still, I can't even lie to you. Yeah, I'm still not fully grasping what you're saying, even though I think you've got certain things going on for you, but I'm not grasping it. First and foremost, brother Cosmic, yeah?
Yo, peace.
Peace. The first question I want to know, first and foremost, yeah, is Jesus. Okay? Jesus Christ, Jesus the Messiah of the first century, who was followed by individuals such as Paul. Was he a historical figure, yes or no?
All right. So the conversation that I entered into, it wasn't one that simply can be simplified like that, right? So I'm gonna go on the side of mythicists, right? But when you go on the side of mythicists, you just can't make simple analogies and jump to this is a mythicist that says that it's a completely created being. There's another group of mythicists that say there could have been a plethora of Jesuses that got executed in some form or fashion, or that because of the political situation of Judea and Rome went up against the Roman Empire, so to speak, and motivated the people enough to create these other, or not even create, because we can see that they didn't create a lot. They simply either restructured Old Testament myths or borrowed from the so-called the indigenous, I'm going to call them indigenous instead of pagan because that's extremely disrespectful. The indigenous myths from around them, which my discussion was certain concepts have an intellectual lineage back to Kemet. For those brothers and sisters not able to understand that, there is an intellectual lineage, not somebody going up on the wall with a notebook saying, I'm gonna copy this part and change this. We're talking about an intellectual lineage that traces itself back. So just to clarify, other brothers and sisters that may not understand the perspective that was presented, that was the conversation in the beginning. Sorry, brother, it was kind of intense.
I love that. But also now I need to narrow you in on this though. Out of those two positions, which of those two schools of thought do you lean towards?
You know, honestly, brother, I mean, I'm studying the Gnostic influence on Christianity, right? I'm heavily leaning towards that. I'm looking at right now the book of John, which is the most Gnostic of all of the texts. And I'm seeing a lot of the elements, the Gnostic elements in the book of John. So like prior, like if you were to ask me like last year, I would be like he existed with myths put upon him. But then I don't know, I may be even leaning more towards like a totally mythical character, you know, because there's this discussion in the Christian world, like there's this lost gospel of Q, right? That has all of these sayings of Jesus Christ in it, but that we just don't know about. And so, but now when you read the Gospel of Thomas, which is a Gnostic gospel, not the Gospel of Thomas has like 114, 120 verses in it or something like that, right? Of those verses, 80 something of them, I think either it's somewhere like 72 or 80 are like, can be found distributed throughout Mark, Matthew, and Luke. So there's another discussion that, you know, there's a conversation on like why the Gospel of Thomas wasn't included inside the canonical or synoptic text, you know, the synoptic Bible, so to speak, or has a synoptic gospel. And then there's the conversation is, could this be possibly the lost source of Q, right? But the reason why they can't include the Gospel of Thomas is because it's extremely Gnostic. Yeah. You know, and then certain people are saying like it comes too late. But when you read the Gospel of Thomas and you look at some of their sayings, like it has what they call more archaic forms of certain teachings that are in like Mark. So it's like the Gospel of Thomas will have like, you know, talking about, I forget exactly, you catch me on the fly, but the Gospel of Thomas will have one saying that discusses a story like the Samaritan woman meeting the Samaritan woman by the well. You read that same story in the Gospel of Mark, but embellished. Then you read the same story in Luke and embellished a little bit more. You understand? So some people are saying that the Gospel of Thomas has more archaic forms of these teachings in it. So it is at the very least can be on par at being written at the same time. So I'm looking at the Gnostic influence on Christianity, on the development of Christianity. So then with that being said, though, I'm like half and half. I mean, of course, there were Jesuses that existed that were killed. You know, when I was looking, it was brought up the other day, Sanhedrin 49 or 43, where they talk about the different Jesuses that were killed. But the one that most resembles the Jesus Christ that was crucified, you know, is disqualified because he existed in 100 BCE. So that's like way too early. So they just automatically kick him out the boat. But he was crucified for being a magician. And then also he had 5 disciples. Like this is an old story, but nonetheless, it's there, you know, and so it deserves some sort of investigation, you know, like, so what is going on? Like, I can't really tell you. I'm still saying there could have been somebody because clearly people were killed that were named Jesus. So it may be the more man that had the myth tagged on to him.
Can I ask you a question, bro?
Yeah.
For clarification, for clarity, peace to your family. Just for clarity, when you say the Gnostic teachings, can you explain what you mean by Gnostic exactly for the people listening? What do you mean exactly by Gnostic?
So Gnosticism itself, there's 2 strains of thought in trying to see where Gnosticism came from, right? There's like this Egyptian Babylonian discussion, like the origins of Gnosticism. However, it's clear that there's an Egyptian philosophy behind it. First of all, Gnosticism taught that you are the divine essence, and that the divine essence. I'm
sorry. What is Gnosticism? Before you go there, let's just clarify exactly.
Gnosis is knowledge, but it's not knowledge like what we're doing now. Like what we're doing now is exchanging information. It's knowledge. It's like personal experience that you have of God within. That is what they meant by the term gnosis. And then Gnostics were the people that practiced gnosis. There were several different forms, but you can't really pin down Gnosticism because there were several different forms and there was evolution in thought. Like Marcion had a type of Gnosticism as well. When you read and kind of delve into his theology, Valentinius had a Marcionism, Basilides had a Marcionism. There were, not a Marcionism, but a Gnosticism. There were different strands of thought here. Like when we try to like pin it down to like, you know, it's like us trying to pin down Hinduism. There's no Hinduism. There are just cultural practices and traits that certain people have.
My issue with that. Here's my question. As far a little pushback. If what you just said was that is Gnosticism deals with people's personal knowledge, right? That personal knowledge is belief. It's what they believed. is belief.
Yeah. That personal knowledge is belief.
It's belief. It's what those people believe.
I guess
so
the difference. Go ahead, brother. I apologize for cutting you off.
I'm sorry. So in reality, we really talk about theism, because theism deals with beliefs, and like you said, Gnosticism deals with knowledge. But if you're going to say that this is what these individual their knowledge of what they experienced, then it's not knowledge; it's really belief.
I was having a conversation with a brother the other day, and he was telling me about a book. I think it was a book that was attributed to Ezra, right? But because of certain sayings in the book, like the book acknowledged Matthew, Mark, and Peter, we can tell that it was at least a 2nd century writing, right? But in that book, there's a saying that says, if you fast for 70 weeks, then you will have the access to the same knowledge of God, right? So when we actually speak on Gnosticism and Gnostics, what we're talking about is practices. That's the difference. There is like what we're having the discussion on is just information. That joint could change with the introduction of something new, right? But with Gnostics, they were discussing practices. When you read Philo and you're reading the description of what the therapeutai, the practices of the therapeutai, they stayed in meditation 6 days out of the week, studying the Old Testament and praying on it, so to speak. But it's like looking at a monastery, and then they only gathered on the 7th day. The difference between Gnosticism and Gnosticism and what we know in belief is it includes the practices in order to have the experience. Like you have to have the experience after doing the practice. Now you can say, well, that's just like the Christians getting the Holy Ghost, so on and so forth. That's fine. That's not what we're discussing. We're talking about most Gnostics, or a lot of systems. I can't say most because I didn't live back then. From what I've studied so far, it was the application of certain principles of conscious transformation in order to have an experience, to have that knowledge of divine, which is similar to Buddhist and Hindu beliefs of cultivation. I'm gonna land it there.
Real quickly. Since some people may be new to Gnosticism, I'm thinking I would normally give a book. I might give a book reference in a little while, but let's just quickly do a Wikipedia search so we can all be up to speed. And if there's any disagreements, we can discuss the disagreements. It says here, Gnosticism, having knowledge, is a collection of religious ideas and systems which coalesced in the late 1st century AD among Jewish and early Christian sects. These various groups emphasize personal spiritual knowledge, gnosis, above the orthodox teachings, traditions, and authority of religious institutions. Viewing material existence as flawed or evil, Gnostic cosmogony generally presents a distinction between a supreme hidden God and a malevolent lesser divinity, sometimes associated with the Yahweh of the Old Testament, who is responsible for creating the material universe. Gnostics considered the principal element of salvation to be direct knowledge of the supreme divinity in the form of mystical or esoteric insight. Many Gnostic texts deal not in concepts of sin and repentance, but with illusion and enlightenment.
Okay. All right. So based on that, so let's look under the hood of that, right? So let me ask you, not with Gnosticism, can Gnosticism be falsified? Can we falsify that knowledge? That knowledge that they're referring to, can that be falsified?
Wait. What do you mean by falsified?
Meaning,
I don't even know what does that mean to falsify? Okay, wait, time out. So we can look at Gnosticism and then see that it's very similar when it talks about direct experience with the divine essence within. Now we're talking about. Now you're asking,
okay,
can you falsify? Wait, Brother Morpheus. Okay. Go ahead. I'll let you speak and then I'll respond.
I was going to stop
you. Did ask me a question.
No, right where you just went. I like where you just went just now, right? So I'm saying that experience, that divine experience, and all those things. Can those things are those things subjective or are they objective? Are they subjective?
It depends, brother, because Like now we're getting into like indigenous spirituality, right?
No,
Is
I'm not
it,
getting into that.
we are definitely getting into indigenous spirituality because my statement would be that Gnosticism is one of the last developments of the Kemetic religion. And Kemetic religion is nothing but African spirituality codified.
And
So
once again,
What? Say that again.
Kemetic religion is nothing but African spirituality codified. That's all we got. Not all, right?
What is spirituality?
African, brother.
What is spirituality?
Oh, you said what is spirituality?
Yeah.
watch
Spirituality. Well, first of all, spirituality is kind of like a Western framework. Typically, spirituality tends to
Okay,
be
so why are we using it?
for ease of discussion.
Even though that we know that it's corrupted.
Spirituality itself, or the term.
The term.
I can say spiritual. Okay, what would you rather say, brother? Culture?
Okay.
Because he's asking about something. Wait. Let's look at how this conversation is developed.
No, I'm listening
Wait,
to
brother
now.
Reggie, hold on, because that was kind of a bomb. Brother Morpheus is asking me, can we? What did you say, brother? Can we falsify Gnostic experience? And I am saying that Gnosticism is an expression of African spirituality, right? So let me then say it's an expression of African culture, but we see Gnosticism being written down, so we also see it being codified. So we have to use. I'm trying to use terms that we can all agree upon. But if you don't agree with that term, let's replace that term so we can move the conversation forward. Nonetheless, I'm still going to present that Gnosticism is the expression. Let's just say the expression then of Egyptian culture in its last stages. Is that fair?
No.
Well, then what would be your thing?
Well, first of all, to say that one thing is only right is problematic. So if you're saying Gnostics or Gnostics come from Egypt and don't come from Persia, right? Is problematic to me. So
that's not what I'm saying. Wait,
you're
stop.
weeding out.
Wait, brother Reggie, hold on. I heard somebody else make this statement too. That is not what I'm saying. That is not.
Okay.
I think I said earlier.
So slow it down. Slow it down. That is not. Say again what you're saying, and if I can just say, if I don't say stop, then I accept it. Go ahead.
All right. I said earlier, people have been saying Gnosticism has at least two strains of thought, Babylonian as well as Egyptian origin. I'm not acknowledging that all of Gnosticism is Egyptian. That's not what I'm saying. Strains of Gnostic thought, like Eugnostis. I said this before. Eugnostis is a Coptic papyri. Is a papyri that was written in Coptic and translated. And what was found with it, which was interesting, it was two versions of Eugnostis found. It was an older version and then a later version. And then the interesting thing that was found when they were looking at the Nag Hammadi library, the interesting thing that was found with Eugnostis was the gospel, the gospel of the Sophia gospel of Jesus Christ. And you can see the scribe literally taking statements from Eugnostis and then attributing them to Jesus. You could literally see this one-to-one going on. If you want to learn more about this, read this book by Donald Parrott. It was written in 1987. And then you can find out more about it. He does a one-to-one comparison in Coptic and then transliterated and translated and showing you how they did this. So then in my presentation, in Eugnostis is one of the first uses of the Son of Man outside of the biblical context. So I'm stating that not as a fact, like boom, go take this to your grave with it. I'm presenting this as a piece of information for further investigation. That's it.
Okay. Well, what you said now is
I'm fine with that. I'm perfectly fine with that.
Different than what you said earlier, which I was when you was making pretty much a statement. But can I do something? Can I share my screen? Can I share my screen? there's a couple of things that I want to bring to the audience, and if I don't, let me. So let me just see. Of course, my computer Can you hear me, or my computer froze?
No, we can hear you.
Okay, so let's. I'm trying to bring this to the comparison between because I want the audience to understand how the people of Persia, how the people the Persian religion, how it actually connects to this, right? And I think that people are missing it out, but somehow my computer's frozen. Okay, wait. I think it hurt me and it unfroze. So I want to start.
You get my back.
I want to start here. So because I want to we see there's different parts. There's people who believe that it came from Egypt. Egypt has many different periods. Many have different periods. Did it come from the late period of Egypt when the Ptolemies are there, or did it come from, or did it come from earlier? The world of the late Egyptian finds its way into this time period that's closely more immediate than the more ancient Egyptian. So then, but at that same time, we find other religions in it. So let me just see now if I can share my screen. Sorry, I'm having some difficulties. I guess
Take your time, brother Reggie. Take your time.
yeah, I'm
We're here for
really
you.
having yeah, thank you. I'm older now. I realize that I'm older. So let me just see.
And I know a few of you guys were complaining that I showed a Wikipedia link of Gnosticism. Give me some time, okay? I'm just
And
going
I want to go. Oh,
through
sorry.
the Medica. I'm just trying to get you a nice little quotation, a little definition from the Medica. So give me time, and I'll pull up another definition for you guys shortly. God willing. Go ahead, brother Reggie.
And then I want to get into a little bit about how the story even changes in Islam. How you like that?
But brothers, I just also want to say this, however. The conversation, I mean, my thing is eugnosis, right? I saw eugnosis, I saw the Son of Man when I was going through eugnosis, and then I see the Son of Man used in Christianity, right? That was my thing.
Brother,
my conversation is how Gnostic was Christianity? Was Christianity simply a Gnostic Judaic movement? It could come from Persia. I don't really care. You understand? It could come, but that's, the influence of Egypt, though, is there, but attaching it there isn't a thing. Was it Gnostic is my question.
What was your claim about the Son of Man again? Sorry? Because you said something that was really interesting. What was your claim?
When you read, okay. The manuscript of Eugnosis is, now some people want to date it to after in the first century, but because of the way it reads, it's arguing against not Christians but philosophers. So people have dated it to the first century, at the same time as the Gospels were being written, so on and so forth. Inside Eugnosis, you see the use of the Son of Man as a term, right? You see the use of the Son of Man as a term. And then I was like, wait, okay, when I was reading, I was like, the Son of Man is something that the Christians say all the time. Then I'm looking at, okay, what do Christians say the Son of Man is? No Christian scholar can really say they understand why this is being used in the current synoptic gospels without understanding, Gnosticism at play at the same time, right? I went back and looked at the use of the Son of Man as far as like being used in the Old Testament. Like I said, they call the Son of Man in the Old Testament a maggot and a piece of grass. That's not deity. The Son of Man in the New Testament is deity on the right hand of God, so to speak. So the question is, what is the Gnostic strain of thought that made it into the Synoptic Gospels, and what influence did Gnosticism have on Christianity? Now we can talk about where Gnosticism came from and the different strands of Gnosticism that also came from Simon Magus and all these other different people, because Simon Magus, I think, taught either Basilides or Valentinius, who eventually ended up in Egypt to begin teaching.
Okay.
So,
Right, so
but we definitely have Valentinius and Basilides being Basilides, whatever, inside Egypt as they are developing their philosophy. Those are the connections.
So let me ask you this, bro. So is Gnosticism, according to you, dealing with esoteric or mystical knowledge?
Well, yeah.
So it's a belief. That's what I'm trying to get to. I understand what you're saying, but a point that I'm getting to, at the root of Gnosticism, if it's dealing with esoterical things, if it's dealing.
It's good.
Brother Morpheus, you there?
I'm gonna get to it.
Brother Morpheus.
Yes, can you hear me, bro?
Yeah, we can hear you now. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm sorry. So what I'm trying to point out, though, is that at the root foundation of Gnosticism, and if Gnosticism is dealing with esoteric knowledge, mystical knowledge, when I asked about those things being falsified in the world of reality, this is where I'm going, right? I understand what people think Gnosticism is. But at the root of Gnosticism is what I said, belief. These are things that people believe. Why? Because you can't falsify supernatural, the supernatural, esoteric, mystical. Those things are supernatural things that cannot be falsified in the world of reality. So they exist in the world of belief. That's my point.
I mean,
You
if that's
understand what
your
I'm saying?
understanding, if that's your understanding you want to walk with, that's fine.
What other understanding is there?
There's an
I don't get it.
understanding of wait, before y'all trip out, because I know you all, there's a conversation that African spirituality is pseudo. And so that's not, I'm a practitioner of African spirituality. And so I wouldn't call that. You know, I would say there is something.
We haven't said it on this
You're
platform.
going to cut me off? Are you going to cut me
Yes,
off?
because you're saying you're applying something to me that I did not say
I'm not
in
talking
this
to you, Brother
platform.
Reggie. Brother Reggie, in respect, if it doesn't apply, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to Morpheus.
I didn't say that neither, bro. So
well, I'm addressing this in general to the people that see this and make assumptions. And if it's not to you, then I apologize if you think it is. But African spirituality and African practitioners have kind of a similar thing. You know, like when you go to a ritual and someone is saying they're being possessed by Shango, you kind of just watch and you're like, well, is it really happening or is it not? But it's the same thing. You know, they have all these rituals, they have all these techniques, they have these strategies, they have these methods of inducing these kind of energies. And so Gnosticism lies in the same thing. So we can go through and say that there is an element in African culture that is strongly tied to belief systems. That's just African cultural values.
So basically it's paranormal. So it's paranormal.
Gnosticism, African spirituality, Native American spirituality, indigenous cultures around the world are paranormal, yes.
Okay. So do you believe in the paranormal?
But what are you saying? What does that mean? Do I believe in the paranormal?
No, because you said you practice spirituality, right? African spirituality. And you just define.
This is my belief. Through the application of discipline of the mind, the body, and the emotions, you are able to access different levels of your being, or different levels of walking through life that you are unable to access through having an undisciplined mind and not having a direct path. Can you give me
an example of some of them, please, or one of them that you can access?
Just meditation.
So you can't access meditation without spiritual. Say that. Wait, break that down again, because you just said that
you keep cutting me off, so I can't finish.
Okay, watch this. Go ahead, bro.
Can I finish a point? If so, then I'll go.
Go ahead.
All
The
right.
floor is yours.
All right. So through discipline and through the application of knowledge and wisdom on what works, like for instance, if you want to heal the body of some sort of illness, studying herbal remedies, studying ways of eating, studying the ways of dieting, studying the ways of fasting, studying what foods do what herbs do what, then you are able to achieve some sort of state of balance, so to speak. Through the application of meditation, you're able to have more control, more knowledge, more wisdom, more insight into what is going on, both internally and externally with you. So if you understand what my belief is, it is that.
Can I speak now to what you just said? Everything you just named is not paranormal, right? Those things are not paranormal, correct? Meditation, discipline in the body, herbs, healing. Those things are not paranormal, are they?
You asked me mine, brother.
No,
You asked me
I'm
what it is. You asked me my belief, so that's what, and I gave that to you.
No, but I'm saying the things you just named. I'm just saying the things you just named. You named meditation. You named discipline. You named herbs. You named healing. And I'm asking you, those things that you just named them. I didn't name them. You just named them. I'm asking you, are those things paranormal?
Oh, are they?
Yes.
The meditation aspect, brother. The meditation aspect.
Okay, let me quickly.
Meditation.
I want to move on to some other stuff now. Like Reggie, it looks like you've got a presentation lined up. Talk to me, King.
They ain't got it.
Okay, so no. Well, first, before I say anything else, I want to say shout out to TITANSTV because he is the origin of this particular debate that is going on, and so shout out to TITANSTV. So I wouldn't want to do that. What I want to give to the audience is simply uh, simply a basis to understand the Christianity why Christianity can't be said that it comes directly from Egypt, right? So I wanna talk about Zoroastrianism, right, or the Mithric religion. Hundreds of years before Jesus, according to the Mithric religion, 3 wise men of Persia came to visit the baby savior god Mithra, bringing him gifts of gold, myrrh, and frankincense. Does that sound similar? Mithra was born on December 25th, as told in the Great Religions of the World, page 330. It was in the winter solstice celebrated by the ancients of the birthday of Mithra, the sun god. Does that sound similar? According to Mithraism, before Mithra died on a cross, he celebrated a Last Supper with his 12 disciples, who represented the 12 signs of the zodiac. After the death of Mithra, his body was laid to rest in a rock tomb. Mithra had a celibate priesthood. Mithra ascended into heaven during the spring Passover, right? The time when the sun crosses the equator. And you could go into this website over here where some of these things were talked about. In addition, Zoroaster was born of a virgin and Immaculate Conception. He was baptized in a river. In his youth, he astounded wise men with his wisdom. He tempted the wilderness he was tempted in the wilderness by the devil component in that story. He began his ministry at age 30. Zoroaster baptized with water, fire, and holy wind. He cast out demons and restored the sight to a blind man. He taught about heaven and hell and revealed mysteries, including resurrection, judgment, salvation, and apocalypse. He had a sacred cup or grail. He was slain. His religion had a Eucharist. His word was made flesh. Zoroaster's followers expected a second coming in the virgin born Seoshat or Savior, who is to come in 2341 CE and begin his ministry at age 30. The people, the Zoroastrian religion still exists. It exists. I have to get a package. 1 second.
Okay.
I'm coming.
When my good brother Reggie comes back, I ain't gonna lie. I ask everybody this.
Oh Lord.
I need some sauce.
Oh Lord.
I need
Some
sauce.
Oh Lord, Kalam. Oh Lord, man.
Because you know these are some fabulous claims.
Wait.
Fabulous claims.
Let's
Fabulous
hold on a
evidence.
second.
Go ahead.
The discussion is the origin of these different systems and beliefs. Simply naming it coming from somewhere else doesn't really negate the Gnostic origin of it. Now, Garfield, when you were discussing what I laid out, I was laying out a particular theory and certain phrases. I would like when I said Hatshepsut and you all laughed, like I gotta admit I got tight on that. But you know what I'm saying? However, if you don't want to acknowledge the similarities, that's fine. Like my discussion is Kemet, Greece, Rome, Christianity. Copy. Now, I'm not saying, like I said earlier, I'm not that, and my only thing on that was the Immaculate Conception part. Not resurrection, not crucifixion, not spitting, none of that. Immaculate Conception. And all I'm saying is this is the first time we see it in history. Everybody else is a copy. Zeus, and then Muada Ashby in his book African Origins, he lays out this system where he's like, you know, I remember when I read it when he said Zeus is Amun, and I was like, you know, but I had that time I didn't know, you know, because I knew Zeus. Okay, I'm going on the tangent. Go ahead.
Hold on a second, beloved. Let the elder finish what he was saying. Go ahead, brother Reggie. And I'm here, by the way, brother Reggie. This is Brother Garfield. Peace and love to you.
Peace, Brother Garfield. How you doing?
I'm very shocked at what you just did, and I refuse to respond to what you just did.
Who, Brother Reggie? Yeah, what I just did?
I'm gonna leave that alone. Because I'm Bronx and you Bronx, and I promised myself I'm not gonna say nothing about the elder no more. I'm gonna leave it alone. But what I'm gonna say is everything you just said. I'm gonna say this real quickly to the brother too, to Cosmic. I love brothers that study, so I love you automatically. For one, because you're a brother, and I love the fact that you took the time out to read sources and put a presentation together. But first of all, I applaud you as a brother to a brother. I'm going to ask you one question, Sankofa. You said Hatshepsut is the first Immaculate Conception. Am I correct? Did you just say that? All right. Now I'm going to ask you a simple question. Can you tell us what the Immaculate Conception is? That's all I'm asking you. A simple question. And that's
being born of a God. Being born. This is my conception. Right or wrong.
Okay. Being
born of a God. Now, wait. Now, I'm also saying document it. Mm-hmm. You gotta don't just jump around. Mm-hmm. Now, if you find something older, that's cool. That's the furthering of knowledge. No. But I'm saying document it. Go ahead. I
might agree with you. Relax. I might agree with you, beloved. All I'm asking you is tell the audience what is your understanding of what an Immaculate Conception is. That's it.
Brother Garfield. Also, well, let me be a little bit more clear. What I saw was the high divinity relating to its messenger to find a woman to impregnate. That's what I saw. Those are the connections that were made. That is the exact connection I think that Luke makes and Matthew are whoever has Gabriel. No, I think, whoever has Gabriel coming to inform John the Baptist's mother first, and then Jesus's mother, that they're about to get done up by God. That's the connection I'm making.
All right, hold on 1 second. Now, Reggie, you also mentioned Immaculate Conception. What does it mean to you, my
brother? Immaculate Conception means that a supernatural birth.
Hey, Koromba!
All right, so this is the problem right here. Now, Sankofa is also signaling to us that it's some supernatural birth. I'm going to say this clearly to the entire Kemetic community. You guys are absolutely pseudo. And I'm going to tell you why. And I mean respectfully. The Immaculate Conception, look at what the Kaaba wrote. is a doctrine of the Roman Catholic Church
Hold
that
on,
states that Mary was
Hold on.
free of original sin.
Hold on, brother. Hold on.
To do. It has
Hold
nothing to
on.
do with her being a god or being a part of God or
Garfield.
virgin or nothing. Go ahead,
Garfield,
Kyle.
wait 1 second. Wait 1 second. Wait. Before you do that, go. Now do it. Go on, Garfield. The floor is yours. Carry on. Let me unmute your mic for you.
My bad, family. You see, we've been saying it. I've heard Ray Hagen say it. I've heard even my greatest elder, Dr. Ben, say it. But I'm not talking about nobody dead, because I love my dead folks. I love my elder, because without him, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. What I'm saying is we have repeated. I know you are, Pops. Let me finish doing what I'm doing, okay? Okay. Let me finish doing what I'm doing. Can I finish doing what I'm doing? All right. Let me kill these guys real quick and leave, okay? This is what I'm going to say to y'all. We have repeated Immaculate Conception since I've been in this country. I've been hearing it from 1989. Left the country, went back to Jamaica, came back, and everybody still says Immaculate Conception. It's not an Immaculate Conception. That has nothing to do with virgin birth, nothing to do with God. All it is, hold on, Puppy. All it's saying is that she is born without sin. That's it. Nothing else. Nothing else. She's born. Look at what Sister Kaba. Shout out to Sister Kaba, man. I want to say I love you, sis, and keep doing what you're doing. The Immaculate Conception is a doctrine of the Roman Catholic Church that states that the Virgin was free of original sin from the moment of her conception. That's all it is. Nothing to do with virgin birth. But we have repeated this. Sarah Sutton-Seti, Young Farah, Brother Polite, Ashra Kwesi, Ray Hagens, Dr. Ben, and I'm going to leave Dr. Ben out because he ain't involved with this because he ain't alive, but peace and love to the elder. And Dr. Clark, him also, peace and love to him. But all our elders said it, and then you have Ray Hagens and Ashra Kwesi saying, now I have my big brother Reggie saying it, and now I got the other brother on the panel, Sankofa, saying it. We got to stop saying Immaculate Conception. Has nothing to do with what we're talking about. Absolutely nothing.
Brother Garfield, I will accept the correction. That's fine with me. The name I can accept. I got that wrong. That's fine. I didn't get the story wrong. I'm talking about the story. The name, fine. Immaculate Conception, magical virgins giving birth. Cool. I'm good with that. I got that wrong. Did I get the story wrong? That's what I'm looking at. So the Immaculate Conception, I need to be a little. Wait, no, let me finish, Brother Garfield. There's a lot of cutting off here. That leads to this. That's not a good way to converse. But I was wrong with the title of Immaculate Conception. However, the action of a God impregnating a woman is first recorded on the walls of Egypt. So let me say that whatever that name is, now I can be educated in the term that is correct in that sense. However, that story in and of itself is there. That's not me saying that. That's not me making that up. That's them. That's it. Like, even if I don't say it, it still exists. People right now are in Egypt looking at the Immaculate Conception on the walls of Hatshepsut. That's not me saying that. That's just me telling you are not immaculate. The deity birth. If somebody knows that title, throw that name here. I'll replace it.
Hold on a second.
Wait, can I talk? Wait, can I talk?
Let me finish my point. The point is that story is first on the walls in Kemet. That's it. That's the point.
Okay, so can I talk? So I just been called pseudo, right?
No, I never call you pseudo. I said the story is pseudo.
Okay, so I just want to say that the concept of Immaculate Conception again comes before Christ, before the Roman Catholic, and it comes in see if I can share my screen. It comes in Zoroastrian. So I'm just going to say that again, and I'm just going to show a source. So let's share the source, share screen. And share screen, and I think it's here till I get to the actual Share screen. Here. Can you see my screen?
Yep. What's up?
Okay, so footnote number 19, Bible myths and their parallels in other religions, right? Mithra, who was a mediator between God and man, he was called the Savior. He was a peculiar god of the Persians who believed that he had, by his sufferings, worked their salvation, and on the account, he was their Savior, where it exists. He was also called the Logos here. The Persians believed that they were tainted with original sin, owing to the fall of their first parents who were tempted by the evil one in the form of the serpent. There it is. They considered their law-given Zoroaster to be a divine messenger sent to redeem men from their evil ways, and they are also worshipped to his memory to this day. To this day, his followers mention him with great reverence, calling him the immortal Zoroaster, the blessed Zoroaster, the firstborn, the eternal one. In the life of Zoroaster, the common mythos is apparent. He was born in innocence of an immaculate conception of a ray of the divine reasons. I just want to say that the concept that maybe was that the so-called Roman Catholic Church took, right? They were borrowing ideas that were already in the ancient world, so it is not. It does not belong to the Christian doctrine. It was actually borrowed. So that's their Roman Catholics dogma. The concept existed directly with Mithra.
Can I say something real quickly? And I'm gonna jump off.
Wait, Brother Garfield, before you go, I want to say I have mad respect and love for all of you. Like the
hold on one second. I can't stay on long, but I'm gonna say this. I don't think Brother Reggie heard one word I said. I think he came back and just wanted to repeat a source. Bro, leave that Immaculate Conception stuff alone. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not even gonna go back and forth with you, man. I got too much respect for you to go back and forth with you. All right?
Excuse me.
But I'm gonna say this right now. Hold on, puppy. Hold on. Sankofa, go ahead, my brother, and I'm gonna jump off. I'm gonna do my own live. I'm gonna go live in the 50.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to say so things don't get out of hand, or any misconceptions. Like those of us engaged in trying to peel back the layers of how we are colonized in different aspects, I have mad respect for. So I have mad respect for everybody here before this conversation. Just understand, mad respect and love, because in some shape, form, or fashion, we are still fighting for the liberation and the restoration of the wholeness of our people.
Jeez. Okay. Family Tree, what you guys saying? Are you enjoying the show so far? If so, make sure you hit the like button down below. Let us know what you guys are saying. And of course, if you got a super chat, drop the super chat. Yeah. And we'll be able to read out your comments live on air. Okay. If you want the link to jump on in and to speak with some of our Titans, the link is also shared down below. Brother Reggie, did you want to add something?
Yeah, I wanted to add something. But so let's get this. What happened to Morpheus?
Oh, Brother Reggie, I wanted to share this part. So John, like the first chapters, like our verses 1 through 18, has like in the Greek, it has specific like Gnostic sayings. So like if you look at John, John verses 1, John chapter 1, verse 1, for beginning, it uses the Greek term arche, right? I'm on my phone, I can't share my screen. But if you were to go to the, everybody uses Bible Hub, blah, 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 the Greek translation.
Give me a second, brother. Give me a second. Because on here on Titans TV, whenever we make a claim, we source our claims every single time. So if you give me the John where?
So just type in the Greek version of John chapter. Let's go John chapter 1, verse 14 first. I mean, in Greek.
1:14, you're saying, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, give me a second. I'm going to pull it up right now for everybody to see.
Well, I'm in for it. Wait. Cyrus, that's not. Let's do. So in one, which one is better? Do chapter 1, verse 4. That's better. Chapter 1, verse 4.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a point.
And it says here, in him was life. Is
Right.
that the one you're talking about?
Let's go to chapter 1, verse 4. Hold on one second.
So John, chapter 1, verse 4.
1 second, brother. Give me 1 second.
And the Lord said, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Let's get it.
Give me 1 second, brother.
Hold on. My Hebrews, where you at, family tree? Come on in. My
All right.
Christians, where you at, family? Let's get it.
Now, at the bottom, so I can't see the one you're doing. Are you using where it says the translation of the word of men? Do you see that one? That's the anthropon. The use of the term anthropon.
In him was life, and life was men. Okay, yeah, let me go to it. Give me a second. Tools. Okay. Right here, anthropos.
Yeah, that is a Gnostic term that they use in the Gnostic. Well, this is my research so far. I'm researching this, but so far I'm coming across that. I gotta pull that more because the logos I've already done. We can see that. But there's other now. This is also coming from different people that are looking at the Gnostic influence on John. So, but John is using the anthropon, which is a specific term that is used by, Gnostics. You're gonna call me on how so on and so forth. I literally was gonna make this tonight and do the research on this tonight, but I saw everybody decided to think I was like pseudo half scholar, half baked scholar. So I wanted to, and I see everybody wanted to talk about it. So I wanted to talk with you before I got the research done. I'm gonna do the research and present it because I think the discussion of the influence of Gnosticism needs to be had on Christianity, specifically John and so on and so forth. But there are certain terms that are used in the Gospel of John that are directly related to the Gnosticism that's being expressed during that time. That's all. I only brought that up there. Like, you can call me on like, well, prove it, show me where. Talk to me this weekend, and I'll have it all for you.
Okay. So, let's go back to your Hatshepsut since you did want to bring it up. I couldn't remember getting to it. What was your claim about Hatshepsut again?
My claim about well, when I first read this, I was like, man, so this is just evidence of people just making things up, right? First of all, because Hatshepsut had an issue with being a ruler, like she had to prove herself. That was the whole wearing the beard joint. And so then I'm looking at like, wow, the priest really just made this up for her. But interestingly enough, I was looking through documents, there's something called, there's a fourth dynasty, what they call a bed ritual, right? That are old kingdom bed rituals that really represented like the person. It doesn't, these were like nobles and high officials in their tombs. They had this bed ritual, which symbolized them becoming a Tsar. And so like the conversation is that the Hatshepsut, he didn't leave us with a term to use instead of Immaculate Conception, and nobody typed it in the comments. So the divine birth thing, let's just put it like that then. The divine birth of Hatshepsut is an evolution of the cultural concept of the bed ritual scene, right? That's kind of the conversation going on in those with that. But the Hatshepsut birth story is the first time we see a god. Now, so like Jesus Christ is technically a demigod, like half God, half man. The only thing that they said Mary was a virgin to make him more special, right? Because there's half gods running around everywhere in the Roman world, the Greco-Roman world. Everybody's a half god.
Let me quickly. There might be a correction, or you might be able to recorrect me back. Christians don't believe that Jesus is a demigod, half man. They believe that he is fully God and fully man.
Right. That's that whole like, don't question me, I'm gonna kill you thing. But we're talking about, and you're talking about like you're expressing a belief that happened after the evolution of a conversation, right? And then the enforcement of a conversation, because that wouldn't be what Arius would. If we were talking with Arius, that's not what his thing would be. Arius would think that Christ is created. So, but that doesn't. They can say it how they want to say it. We still see the concept of God having sex with a woman and birthing a child happening all over town. Well, and then maybe I should be more specific because people. Okay, as I'm talking, I guess I'm talking to everybody else.
But remember,
the concept of the demigod, within the Greco-Roman society was extremely common. it wasn't uncommon to have a story of a person that was divine because their parents were divine. That was a very common thing, and we can see this happening all the way back in history. We can trace that concept all the way back in history. What we see the Christians doing is trying to separate their concept of the demigod and make it more special, make it better, make it more pristine. There was original sin. All these other gods are birthed in sin because the high God comes down and actually has sex with them, which is like, oh, this is such a disgusting act. But, to the minds of the ancients, like there's no other way to have a baby but through sex. But according to they came up with this theory, like, well, let's just have a virgin have a birth, and can't get better than that. So now we got all these, these people saying, well, virgins have birth. All right, cool. One virgin in the whole of human history can do this. If this is your conception, interesting. But if we look at what's going on, like the background of all of my slides said context is king, pattern is queen, right? What is the context that a document is being developed in? I was looking, what is the context like when we see in the early 1900s in America, all of these Black liberation theologies exploding, in Harlem and all of these inner city areas. What's happening? We're having more and more, people of color that's been out of slavery for a period of time that are becoming literate, that are developing these liberation theologies to help the condition of their people. This is why we see the explosion in the early 1900s versus less of an explosion in the early 1800s when less of our people were literate. We still see people having liberation conversations, but we don't have the explosion of all these different groups that we have in the early 1900s from like 1896 all the way to like, let's just say 1940. We have this explosion of theology that's happening inside the Black world because we have more literate Black people, right? That makes context king. Likewise, when Christianity is being developed, we have a plethora of people that are half God, half man. They're God, somehow one of the parents is a god, like Achilles' mother was a goddess or something of that nature, and his father was a man, so on and so forth. We have these theories going on back in those times. My discussion is the first time we see this represented is on the walls of ancient Egypt with Hatshepsut. That's the bottom line.
Okay. Okay. So even though you say that, and that is probably true, the play, the story, the concept drifted into the neighboring world of the Persians. Certainly, when Darius and Xerxes attacked and invaded Egypt, and they created the Ibis temple, which is very, very important temple. The words on the Ibis temple is basically the Persians trying to understand a temple created during the Persian time meant to kind of reveal things that were lost. And so we get a lot of the stories redone in that time. These concepts find themselves in the Persian world and then find themselves in the Christian world, the Hebrew and the Christian world. So I don't doubt that the many origins of this play, of this story. I just want to, because you are a practitioner, I have to ask you, Brother Sankofa, do you believe that it was real? Just so that I understand who I'm talking to. Do you believe that these stories in Egypt are real, or do you think that they're myths?
They're myths.
Okay, great. All right. So then if they're myths, it was like what Morpheus was trying to say, right? You can't validate or make a myth false. It exists. So it has its reality only in itself.
Right. That's why I was like, I was confused on how to answer the question. It's like, it's a myth, but it serves a purpose. It serves like, they have like when someone's going to war, they would do a dance, a ritual to Shango meant to pump you up, so you get this Shango energy. There's a certain ritual. Basketball players, any sports player will do specific rituals to call that energy up in them so they can go out and break down some walls.
Okay,
You
but it's a
understand?
it's a
That's
it's a
that's all I'm saying.
neurological.
So like, I don't
Okay,
know. Yeah, I didn't know how to answer that. Maybe I'm not used to answering those questions. I just like.
it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. But what you said was helpful. But what the reality is it's only true in the imagination and the mind. It's a neurological misadventure. So then we as African people who are studying this stuff can make it more important than what it is, but it's still a myth, right? Now I want to ask you, I mean,
Can,
I want no, see, here's the thing is I could talk and I can get cut off, right? So why don't I just shut up? What are you going to say?
brother, I raised my hand not to cut you off. I just wanted to say something extra to the point, to bring up a point, or to support the point you just made. When I was on Sonetta's show the other night, somebody called in and wanted to argue with me about that the apothis thing. And then when I looked it up, it was a literary device of the 19th dynasty that was used to teach like a logic lesson, right? But someone read that and then is thinking that that's real. It's just to support the point you were just saying. I wasn't trying to cut you off. I was raising my hand, just to let you know I wanted to speak on that.
I'm sorry, I wasn't looking at the screen when I was talking. It looks like I'm looking at you, but I'm actually looking at something else. So I apologize.
Hey,
Nevertheless,
Yes, brother.
yeah, I understood what you were saying before. Just real quick, I didn't have an argument against that. What you were saying, I was just trying to point out, as Brother Reggie just pointed out about belief as far as Gnosticisms and things. At the end of the day, I wasn't arguing with you per se on that note, but I understood what you were saying.
Okay.
Okay, hold on 1 minute, 1 second. Let me just quickly do this. First and foremost, I just want to say thank you to the panel members. We've got, the good brother Reggie up in the building, brother Cosmic Sankofa, Mr. Morpheus, and of course, yes, and what? Asa M. Car, the knitter, up in the building. Peace to the God. What's good, King?
ATM Matap, Sunny, Uncle the Jet, Uncle Josh Sanab. Shout out to my Saber Reggie. Shout out to my brother Morpheus. Shout out to my brother Cosmic Sankofa, and of course Titans TV and the whole London community. We love you, baby.
Hey, I'm gonna be doing that little jingle, Jeez. Hey, let's go. Let's get it. So again, for those of you guys who are joining us in new, this conversation is actually about the debate that will shortly take place between Brother Garfield and Brother Jabari. And I believe the debate is titled, Did Christianity Steal from Kemet? Or is Christianity stolen from Kemet, basically?
Can I chime in on it?
Or we can remix it in a hot second. Or we could remix it as it wasn't even copied from Kemet. Now, this question or this debate is mainly around Christianity. So if we can have some Christians, I know we got some Christians in the comment section, but if you guys would like to join us, again, I'm going to keep posting this link. The link is going to be posted. I know you lot are commenting, but I'd love to get you guys on here. All right, so come on in and join the panel. Go on, brother Asar.
Yeah, come on in, Christians. Come on, my brothers. I've been thinking about this discussion and how it's going to go. I see Garfield's method of approach. We discussed it the other day on his show. The thing is this: if you start to look at Jesus historically, or even through historicity, what does he teach, or what is said about him? If I go to the Jews are saying the Toledat Yeshua, he tried to worship himself. In fact, there's a gentleman named Ankh in the book that necromances him and asks him where he's at. And he basically had methods of ancient Egypt. If I go to Uh, another source is always he tried to get himself to worship himself. If we ask the Jews account, if we look at Jesus pen, I can't even pronounce how Panmendier. It says he's an
Pandera,
Egyptian
or
priest,
or
and
what how I like to pronounce it is pa niteria.
Paneter, huh?
There you
So
go.
he's an ancient Egyptian priest, and he's preaching against the Roman Empire, ancient Egyptian text. Where can we go to find Jesus in ancient times according to his historicity or his supposed historic uh, living, where he's not doing something of ancient Kemet?
Question.
Wait. Where can we go and find Jesus doing stuff that's not of ancient Egypt?
Yes, sir.
So, like I said before, Jesus and Mithra are so closely related. Wise men following them, not not directly related to ancient Egypt, right? The names, the types of the wise men, right? They are definitely from uh, the Persian Empire, the Persian group by their titles, which I'm sorry I can't look it up. The birth on the solstice may be shared, right? The concept of titles may be shared between Persia and Egypt. The death on the cross is Persian, not necessarily Egyptian. That's a different concept. The Last Supper, the Eucharist, is Persian, not Egypt. But in the world of mysticism, right? In the world of mysticism, everything my saber saw is possible, right?
Yes,
In
sir.
the there's always another degree, there's another story, there's another grandmaster, there's another way to talk about what's important about the story, because these stories are made, or plays are made to educate. So there's always another lesson, right? So that the process is real, but the story itself is not necessarily real, right? So even like in the Masonic genre, where you have Hiram Biss, to say that Hiram Biss was real, and the Temple of Solomon, that doesn't even sound right, right? The Temple of Solomon and Hiram Biff, and that doesn't, all of that really in history doesn't sound right. So we know it's not meant to be real. So I'm saying to the audience, are we trying to do something else with a myth? Like, are we really trying to fight for the myth? Or should we be more deep studiers and fighting for the information behind the myth? Are we trying to make the myths real? If we're trying to make the myths real, then we have lower degrees in knowledge. And I have been taught by uh, some of the greatest scholars here that we know of, including Dr. Ben and Dr. Clark. That's why they call me Resume Reggie, and Dr. Jeffries and Professor Small. I know that behind the nibs are the great lessons if you could break the stone. If you could see the chamber and break the stone, then you can find what you need to build yourself. But if you're stuck in believing in the myth, you will never see it within yourself. So I wanted to, what I wanted to share with y'all, maybe I'll let y'all talk a little bit more. I wanted to share you, I want to share how I know these things actually change, and then maybe I'll just close out and go about my business. So why don't y'all, Asar and Sankofa in one sense very similar, both being practitioners of the Kemetic faith, or the Kemetic spirituality, the Kemetic religion, or the Kemetic codes, or the Kemetic or Ma'at. I have more experience with Asar and Ka than I do with Sankofa, right? And he's another person I walked through the museum. Brother Reggie walked Morpheus through the museum. My brother of Titan TV, right? Kalam and many more. We
Two of
walked.
us know how to read. Two
Yeah,
of us know how to read.
right. So then the question comes of actually, can the practitioners read any of the meta nature, or and that becomes a problem, because I find out that many of the practitioners meta nature skills, though they want to say all this stuff comes from the meta nature, when it comes to producing a meta nature text, crickets.
Yeah. Two of us in here besides you know how to read, I know for sure. And probably Brother Garfield. I don't know if my brother's going to
No, Brother Garfield is pseudo when
No.
it comes to reading better than
Oh,
I read it in
okay.
Jamaican. I read it in Jamaican. Now, let me ask a question to the panel. So, are we agreeing with the brother when the brother said that the Luxor temple does show an Immaculate Conception? Let's not use that term, a virgin birth. Are we agreeing with the brother?
Parthenogenesis.
Yeah,
I would say.
are we agreeing with that? Because what I would love Reggie and Asar to do, since they're readers of the text, is to pull the text out and let's see what it actually says. Because I see a lot of people make this claim, and I don't know if Sankofa, you could read Mejanetta?
Yeah, I just wanted to put that back in me so I didn't have to say it. So now I gotta say, like Dr. Carr told me, it's been a while since I read it, so I need to brush up on it. What I end up doing is like, for a second, I was on this other social media platform teaching the language to brothers and sisters that wanted to learn it. So these are what you see behind me is the uniliterals, the biliterals, and the triliterals. And I was just getting to the determinatives, and we were going to go into nouns and things of that nature. So yes, I can read it. Have I read it in a while? No. It's kind of like, you use it when you can. So go ahead.
Whether you could read it or not, I do have two people who I actually trust on the panel who can read it. The point I'm trying to make is that story that you're saying that we use the term Immaculate Conception. I guess you meant virgin birth. Would I be better to say a virgin birth concept?
Because no, I meant being born of a God. That's what I was specifically.
You meant born of a God. Okay.
Yeah, that's so. All right. The immaculate thing I could have. Yeah.
No. But are you saying that the story? I'm sorry, Brother Reggie. Go ahead, my brother.
No, I'm first. I need to. So why don't somebody pull it up? Do what Garfield say. Pull it up. Where is it?
See, how did Matthew or Luke copy this story or this tradition? Yeah. If you're saying born of a God, we have stories older than that story in other cultures.
Right, but then, but the thing that I was
that's not using a methodology. That's using conscious community methodology. Whoever have it first, we rocking with them. That's the conscious community methodology. If we want to say ancient Near East, we have it in a bunch of ancient. I'm sure it's even older than an African culture if we really want to get deep. But the issue here is in the ancient Near East, there was cultures that had people being born of a god. That's not Kemet. Before that. So would you say that that's where they got it from? No, because we want to be what I call Egyptomaniacs. We want everything to come from Egypt. It's just the truth. We never took the time to research. It's just like when Brother Jabari said Kings of Kings the other day and beat me up. Everybody, you got Garfield. But if I show Kings of Kings in another culture, does that make Jabari wrong? You see, this is our problem. We want to be first with everything. So the first person, yesterday I showed this picture, and Brother Reggie actually supplied me with some of these too. I'm going to show a picture real quickly on the screen, right? I'm going to show 3 pictures, 3 images. Brother Kalam, Share this real quickly with the audience, real quick. I'm gonna share a picture real quick. This picture right here. Share that picture for me, please. All right. So that picture is the mother and child, right? Now we have another image. Look at this image right here. So we said, okay, that's where they got it from. So we have this image right here, right? This is another child, mother and child. Then we have I'm not even going to show the Nakada images.
I see the setup. Go ahead.
Wait, can I?
I'm not even going to show those, but this is one of the oldest ones, right? So if this old one, if we go by who's first, then we're going to say what? That Egypt got it from these people? This is our mindset in the community.
Wait, Brother Garfield.
It has to change, family.
Let me respond. Even if you were to show those images, my conversation, because when you spoke yesterday, you kind of lumped me in with a bunch of people without us ever conversing to get my viewpoints. My conception is that at the moment, like Egypt is the development of African civilization. We can see these motifs in African civilization. Now, as far as different concepts like the Virgin Mary and all not the Virgin Mary, but that Isis, Horus, suckling scene and all that, I've never had that discussion. This discussion, as a matter of fact, with Hatshepsut was specifically that. Like, I'm just focusing in on that particular one. And then I specifically labeled it origin. Not copied, not they got it from there. I said origin. And I'm talking specifically about the motif of God coming in and impregnating a human, not a God. This is why I specifically say it's not here. Wait, let me finish, brother. Don't cut me off. Don't cut me off. I'll land soon. Let me finish. But this is why I say, like, it doesn't make sense, this Immaculate Conception piece, to be Horus. That's wrong, because Horus is the son of two gods. Hatshepsut is the first that we see in documented history to be of a god and a human. And then the other Gabriel, the other parts of the story link up. But that's it. Now it came through, it got watered down through Rome and Greece. I mean, Greece and Rome, and finally hitting the Christians.
I would tell you that, just to clarify this story, as it's been discussed so many times, Asar and Aset and the battle, or the pregnancy of Aset, is the story of the birth of the birds and the bees. Okay, Asar is the Nasut Biti. The Nasut Biti is the plant, the Su plant, and it's the bee. Aset turns into a bird. There's a golden phallus attached, and I believe in the story they say she puts honey on it to attach it, because his phallus is thrown in the Oxyrhynchus fish's mouth, according to the text.
I don't think we talk. Are we talking about the same story?
Yeah, this is the story.
Hatshepsut story.
Hatshepsut is different. That's what we're talking about. Once again, just like I said, this is Aset and
no. That's a different
story.
That's a different story, beloved. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the Hatshepsut story.
Yeah, but that's what I just said. If you're talking Hatshepsut, Hatshepsut said that her father was Amun, and that her and pretty much this is a few Nasut Bitis, a few kings in ancient Kemet. They say that Amun becomes the father and impregnates the woman, and then your divine birthright goes through Amun as a king.
Yeah,
Hatshepsut said the same thing.
Yeah, but her real father was Tutmosis the first, right?
Yes. But
so that's her real father. So
came in the form of her father and impregnates her mother. That's her story.
Right. So that sounds somewhat biblical, right? That somehow God steps in first, right?
Right.
And impregnates the mother, right? It's a story. Cut it out. Cut it out.
Her father to her is divine. And what are we going to say about our parents?
Yeah, divine, but
they're divine.
but we know her real father was Tutmosis the first. Cut it out.
Yeah, but I mean, he's divine. He was the king.
Right, but was he Amun
as a god on earth?
But was he divine? wait. So you're saying to me that yes, all we can believe that our parents were divine, but show me where it says Amun is. I mean, Tutmos is the first. Well, they played things with names, so it could be in this cartouche. And so the fact of the matter is, cut it out. She might have believed her father was divine, but the fact of the matter is, he died. He impregnated her mother, right? And so before that this happened in the first dynasty, and it happened on the first dynasty and continued on. So
Didn't you correct Ali Muhammad at the Saka War weigh-in with the same thing? Because he used the same story too. You said the same thing, my brother.
And that's what they do.
That was 70 years. That was 8 years ago, beloved.
That's the tradition, right? So now you see how that tradition continues to pass down, and it somehow Mary, a Holy Ghost rolls over the top of Mary, and somehow she became pregnant. Now, if we pull up the Toledet Yeshua, they say Mary the hairdresser, and she slept with several dudes and couldn't tell you who Jesus' daddy was.
And the prophet Esau, his mother, Gabriel or Allah blew into her garments to get her pregnant, right? So we don't want to. We can continue to play these games on words. I don't care if a myth comes from West Bubblefuck. It's still a myth. I can respect that my people were innovators of the myth, right? But then now when the myth goes too damn far and then it causes ultimately bloodshed to my people, then I have to review the purpose of the myth in the beginning. If it makes some superhuman Jesus Christ superhuman, and then it makes the white folks that follow Jesus superhero, and it leads to my people's travel, being human kidnapped and trafficked during the transatlantic slave trade, or prior to that in Islam, right? Then I have a problem with MIBs and the power of MIBs in the human psyche to believe what they're doing is absolutely God right, God chosen. So the hell with the MIBs if the MIBs do have that type of power.
Well, when we look at the myth, we have to look at two things, and I see where you're going, absolutely. But here's the thing: people find differences between each other, and once they find differences between each other, they find a reason to go to war. Now they need inspiration in order to get the people to back them to go to war. So, if a European picks up Jesus, or an African picks up a Tsar, or a Persian picks up Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they're just inspiring themselves to go to war for whatever difference they find in the other person that they think is offendable to death or to enslave them by. So myth, I don't necessarily does that. Myth brought us our calendar, but myth can inspire you.
No, the calendar was made into myth. The calendar was made. The reasons for the calendar, right? There's symptomatic thinking and there's symbolic thinking. The symptomatic thinking is understanding the universe, the stars, the rotation, the flooding of the Nile.
Right.
The mythology is to how you're going to hold that story in oral traditions, right? You're going to make it exciting so people remember key things. Remember I said this, right?
My point, yes. Like when the sun comes up in the morning, that's the birth of Heru, according to the text.
Family. Listen, how is there just about 100 people watching right now, yeah? And we don't have 100 likes. Let me know how that makes sense. In what world does that actually make sense? Family tree, if you are here at this prolonged moment of time, it clearly means you're enjoying the content, right? So if you're enjoying the content, hit a like button. Share this with your friends, your family. Let everybody know you're live right now on Titans TV with Brother Garfield, Brother Reggie, Brother Casmic, Sankofa, Brother Morpheus. Have I said Brother Osar yet? God damn. Hit the like button, man. Let's go, baby. Let's go.
I'm the Holy Ghost. Let me stay Holy Ghost. I'm gonna just oversee, huh?
I'm gonna get ready to show y'all something, and then I think I'm gonna have to go. So I want to hear what Garfield has to say, and then ultimately I want to show.
Can I ask everybody a question? Can I ask a question, please? If I may, can I ask everybody on the panel a question?
Yes, sir.
Okay, everybody in the panel, would you agree or disagree that Christianity comes out of Judaism?
Yes.
Would agree.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you also agree that Judaism,
Ooh,
right,
hold on. No. Let me back that up. Does Christianity come out of Judaism?
Yeah.
I would say Christianity comes out of the Judaic and Greco-Roman milieu.
The same. Yeah. I agree with you, brother. Just you're being like really detailed. Like we were just saying, just for
because to say
let me finish my pipeline.
To say come out of Judaism is to say that Jesus was teaching Judaism.
Oh, no.
Well,
he came to fulfill.
Well, so
that's the propaganda now. That's the propaganda.
Now watch this now. So let me finish. Right, watch this now. So that if we agree to that, right, then you also agree that according to the narrative, the biblical narrative, the Jews, Hebrews, Israelites, whatever you want to call them, was in Kemet, according to the narrative, for over 20-something centuries. Over 400 and something years, correct?
No.
According to the biblical narrative?
Wait a second. Wait, but you're jumping around on that one.
No, I'm not. I'm asking you, listen to the question. According to the biblical narrative, were the Jews, Hebrews, Israelites, whatever name that you want to call them, were they in Egypt for over 400 and something years? Yes or no?
Yeah.
I'm going to call you Brother Anansi and ask you to finish your question.
Well, what he's referring to is the time from Abraham in Kemet to the time that the Hebrews left. And in the biblicle text, it says 400 some odd years. So, yes.
Right. So I said,
Morpheus, you forgot they took the same timeline and they shortened that shit when so-called Jesus was supposed to go to Egypt himself.
Right.
Wait, and then Brother Morpheus, this is something else in that particular part of your conversation that's not taken into consideration, which is the Samaritan Pentateuch, which is unmolested by the Masoretic text. And in the Samaritan Pentateuch, they say that the Jews, this is their myth, the Jews were in Egypt Egypt and Canaan for 430 years.
Okay.
So we gotta,
Here's the point that I'm trying to simplify this, right? This is my point. If you have Christianity comes out of Judaism, or so, like you just said, Greco, Judaism, whatever. So these are the same people, Israelites, Jews, who are the disciples, whoever, whatever. These are the same people. These same people, Hebrews, are in Egypt for 400 and something years. That's over 20 something generations. I'm trying to figure out how people think that they're not getting from this land, culture, people that they were in with for over 20 something centuries. How do you think some of the stories or mythologies or oral traditions or whatever has not trickled into the Christian story? I'm trying to figure out how does that happen?
Well, that time frame is too. I mean, inside the framework of a Christian mind, even like you have to be inside that framework. That time period is just great. You were talking about, at the very least, it would be a 1400-year time span from Exodus to the birth of Christianity, at the very least, the birth of the person.
Right, but it's the same. Well, it's the same people. It's the same people, same oral traditions that's been passed down, family. It's the same people, is what I'm trying to get at.
I got you. Okay, I got you.
Is anybody going to respond? I don't want to interrupt anybody because, once I talk, I just close the shop. So,
let me brother Garfield, because it's your debate.
Yeah. Oh, Garfield, what am I?
Jehuti of Atlantis is in the building.
I'm just asking the question. I'm not making it.
Look at this. How do you value someone's being influenced, right? For one, if I'm looking at an influence, for one thing I'm looking at the traditions that they have. The flood story, the God story, the Shem, Ham, and Japhet. I'm looking at Passover, which is the most important holiday. I'm looking at their calendar. I'm looking at their folkways, their mores, their norms, their customs, traditions. So now the first thing I look at that pops out at me is, okay, they come from Canaan. Which deity are they worshiping in Canaan? They're worshiping a god named El. All right. Now, they're worshiping a god named El, but they also have other deities that they have within the milieu, which is like Baal, El. You have in the Ugaritic text, you see a version of Yahweh, something that's translated as Yahweh. So Yahweh was looked on as a lesser deity of El. What I'm saying is, I'm looking at their God. I'm looking at their calendar. Now, Egypt has three different calendars. You guys could correct me. And they are all complicated. Egypt is the first country that had 365 days in their calendar system. Everybody else had 354 or the most 360, right?
Correct.
Now, Egypt's calendar has a lot to do with stars and astronomy. I know. Hold on 1 second, Pops. And watch this, family. We look at the calendar that the Jews follow. They don't even follow the Mesopotamian calendar. They don't follow the Assyrian calendar. They follow the Babylonian calendar. And when I mean Babylonian, I mean the Neo-Babylonian calendar from 600 BC. And guess what? The Hebrew calendar days have the same names as the names of the Babylonian calendars. The holy days, Yom Kippur, the New Year, the Day of Atonement, all these different holidays are connected to Babylon, Neo-Babylonian society. Watch this now again. They have laws, over 613 laws. Majority of them come either from the Hammurabi Code or they come from ancient Mesopotamian laws. So you see a connection, a main connection with Babylon. Now you got to ask yourself, did Egypt influence them? Of course Egypt influenced them. Hell yeah, of course. I would never disrespect Egypt and say they didn't influence them. But we can't leave out the words in Psalms and Proverbs and Lamentations, which were influenced by the Ugaritic text. Don't just point out Psalms 104 and Psalms 84 and Proverbs 22 and think that, oh, Egypt influenced all of Proverbs. Psalms have 150 chapters. So if you find one that's influenced by Kemet, and by the way, to the influence by Kemet might be through the Ugaritic culture, because remember, Ugaritic was once controlled by Kemet. So I'll say this to everybody. Whenever you're talking about the Egypt and the 400 years, if you read my book, Misconceptions and Misinformation by the Black Hebrew Israelites, Volume 1, you will see that in the tradition in Chronicles, there are 3 traditions. As a matter of fact, all 12 tribes, according to the Chronicles, never went into Kemet. If you ever read it, and that's the craziest thing about my book, that people, they talk all the junk about my book, but they don't read it. It proves that there's a tradition, another tradition within the biblical text that says they never went into Kemet. But hey, don't listen to me. I'm just a guy that research. I don't know nothing.
No, you do excellent research as well. My thing is, if somebody pulls up Rechni Ra's tomb and makes a Hebrew choose a when he was actually there, since they're the Haibiru, they're the Hikakasut, they're the this, or when we pull up, even when we first see Yahweh, the first signs of Yahweh, he's being subjected to an ancient Kemet. That's his first showing. He's being subjected to by ancient Kemet, and some of his men are being punished, right? So if we're going to say ancient, there's going to be some difficulty saying, okay, we can separate that from ancient Egypt. If we're talking just in general, like we were influenced more over here than over here, then you do have a point. But when it comes to calendars, my fault, Brother Cosmic, I'll end shortly. Oh, and I never tell people this. If we go look at the Coptic calendar and we look at the ancient Remech calendar, the one that would move with Sothis or Sirius for most people, it's the exact same. And the names of the calendar are the exact same. Ip is still on there. All those things are the exact same. So the cops still keep the tradition. In the place of the Necharu's birthdays, they have saints that they worship instead of the Necharu. The celebrations that they have are still on the same dates. And that's why now that you see Sirius rise around August, you see their calendar in August because it's the exact same. And so if we're talking Coptic and we're talking Babylon, you're going to have some issues if your competitor knows these things. If he doesn't, you're in the clear. You're good to go.
Yeah, brother. So I just wanted to clarify. Are you talking about the Sashu of Yahweh that were taken captive with the 5 other tribes? Is that what you were referring to?
Yes, sir.
Because I don't think people, a lot of people know that there was the Shashu of Yahweh, the Sashu of Reuben.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but they were brought in, and this is the conversation that Yahweh was like a tribal god of one of the tribes, because then and even maybe that. Well, that's a conjecture. I know that has a discussion. Yahweh being a tribal god of one of the tribes.
Can you give me a source for that? I mean, personally, can you give me a source for that?
Yeah, that's easy, man. I'm in Otep the third.
Yeah, you'll go in his it's like a tomb area or whatever. You'll see like a stone and it's got the Shasu right on there, and it's also got the Kananu on there, or who you call the Canaanites, and it's also got a few other people in there.
To brother Asar, when you said the Coptic that they follow the calendar, Egyptian calendar, if they're in Egypt, why wouldn't they follow it?
That's my point.
The Jews are the furthest. Yeah, what's up? All right, put it on over there.
How close are the Copts to the Greeks?
The earliest Christians were Jews. The Copts, that's irrelevant. That's later, bro.
Well, when you start
talking about a Christian, hold on. When you're talking about a Christian culture, you're talking about Babylonians who are using. And a matter of fact, I have a source I could bring up on the screen that has all the calendars that the Jews used throughout history. And by the way, in the Bible, it states 4 names of calendar months that's in Canaanite. It's Canaanite words, right? Rooted words. And what happened is they didn't use that anymore. Originally, that's the calendar system that they used, and they had the 4. Giza calendar, we look at that. That's the earliest calendar that we have, 10th century BC. But the issue is they switched up and started following Babylonian calendar system, following the Metonic cycle, which is of Greco-Babylonian origin. And that's what they're following. They're not, I don't see, you see, a calendar is huge. I'm from Jamaica. I'm following the same calendar you follow here. You see the cultural influence of whoever invented that calendar system on Jamaica, on America. In the Jews, you don't see that. You don't see an Egyptian calendar system. You don't. And it's huge. It's a huge influence to use a calendar system. And even take the damn names. That's huge. They're going to steal the damn names. Then they're going to follow the Metonic cycle. That's what I asked Jabari. He's like, I know what it is. No, you don't know what it is. Nobody knows what it is unless you go look it up.
Right. And that's why I said unless he knows that, it's not, it's going to be fruitless for him. So It's going to be an interesting debate between you two. I'm looking forward to see the two dynamics that you use and how you guys go about attacking each other's information. My mind is made up on the theory. I just want to see you guys do it because I want to see y'all this culminate. I want to see how it goes.
And to repeat, the title is "Was Christianity Stolen from Ancient Kemet?" And people need to remember that. Was Christianity stolen from ancient Kemet? That's the main. Go ahead, brother Reggie.
Look, I
don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to be a spoiler, right? But at some point, people get caught up in their thoughts and not in the actual title of the debate. And so you can go on with all your guns blazing, and you're going to fail with terminology. There's other terminology. I'm not going to give it away, but I'm from what I've heard from Garfield is that it's not going to be a stolen argument. If you're going in there with something is stolen and you're not using words like syncretism and you're not looking at other systems of belief and religion, and you're double down or triple down on ancient Egypt or the Egypt that you want to believe in, you're not gonna prevail. And I've debated with Jabari publicly, right? So it's no and for most of the Kemetic shrines, I just don't. I mean, Kemetic people, I just feel that they just don't know enough, except for Hassan Ka, right? Most of the very things, and they're trying, and then when you catch them and let you know, well, that's a funerary ceremony. That's not what you're saying it is, and we know exactly where that comes from, right? And that's on a coffin text. Then it's a whole bunch of mumble jumble, right? It's a whole bunch of "I hate you, brother Reggie's a traitor." Like, I see the thing on the coffin, and this is the thing that you're doing. What you show me what you're really doing,
right?
So the fact of the matter is, and so the Kemetic information is growing because more people are beginning to read the text, but it's based on things that you can be proven that these are the wrong ceremonies at the wrong time at the wrong place, right? And they don't have the meanings. Now you're carrying meanings now that we know are false. You're doing syncretism in itself. You're trying to canonize some stuff. So I wanted to show one thing, and then I'll get out of here. And y'all can yell at me, call me a whole bunch of names, and whatever the case, that's fine. Difference is I've been taught pretty well, and I'm a good student, right? By living elders.
That's on them other channels. No, you have respect on these. We know who you are.
Yeah, and if I seem to have been disrespectful to any of you brothers,
no, he's not talking about you.
Okay, so let me just share my screen and get the hell out of here, right? Because this is share screen. I'm gonna show y'all something. Before I do it, let me just table this. I'm going into another religion. I'm going into Islam. Right? I'm going into Islam. Now, Islam carries stories, but the Esau is not Jesus Christ, right? The prophet Esau is another figure, but he's not Jesus Christ, right?
Muslims.
Yeah, he's not Jesus Christ. And then in that story, we have the angel Gabriel. We have the angel Gabriel. Angel Gabriel now gives a message to the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, so I don't get stabbed quickly, right? And then that creates a revelation. Now everything that was in the past changes now to this new revelation of how the world came into being, who the God Allah, which is Al and Law, right? Because you know that his name is Law, because you have that whole thing of Bishmalah, and you have other things that say that that the God's name is Law, right? You already know it. Okay, you already know it. But the part I want to get to is how syncretism and things kind of change. So we all know that Gabriel's an angel, correct?
Yes.
Gabriel's an angel?
6,000 wings, yes.
And he has a connection with the Prophet Muhammad. We do know that, right?
Yes, sir. In the cave, squeezed him. Ikrat.
Okay, great. Was there now there was a time where the Arabs were mushrikeen. They were Christians, right?
Facts.
They were Christians, right? Just before the awakening or the vision or the revelation. Is that true?
Yes, sir.
So we know that Christians were in the area, right?
Yeah. Whole Kaaba was flooded.
Okay, and so some of the people, some of the caliphs were had to be converted, right? Was Umar born a Muslim?
No.
He had to be converted, right?
Yes.
The prophet was converted by the angel Gabriel, right?
Yeah. His uncle was around Jews.
He was around Jews. He was around Coptics, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Okay. I'm gonna show you. I know Kalim is something. He ain't saying nothing. He don't want to get.
Tony Lysite said pseudo, but don't let us pull that Quran out and start reading no verses.
Okay, I'm gonna show you a man who resurrected more people than Jesus Christ. Right? He resurrected. I'm gonna show you the man who spoke to the dead. Right? He's more powerful than Jesus Christ. I'm gonna show you this man. Does anybody know? Does anybody think they know who I'm going to talk about during the time of Islam?
Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
He resurrected how many people?
That's a stat you got me on.
Okay, I'm not gonna. Okay, so I'm gonna take the. When I see the blade come, I'm gonna start running first. I'm gonna show you a man. I'm Gabriel. Khalil.
Yeah.
This is what we do. I am going to show you the man that's more important than Jesus Christ coming into this time period. You ready?
Let's get it.
Boom, boom, boom. Share my screen. Share screen. This is this is what white scholars know. This is what everybody else. Okay. You know, I always have this problem with okay, so here he goes. Okay, so all right. Is my screen being shared? No.
Not yet.
Okay, that's because okay, let me just stop talking. Give me a second. Okay, I'm gonna have to do it like this. Share the screen. See my screen?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There was a man named Gabriel. He's Gabriel of Beth Kustan. He is Saint Gabriel. He's Christian of Beth Kustan. He's also known as Saint Gabriel of Cortman. He was the bishop of Tur Abdin until his death of 648. 648. He is venerated as the saint in the Oriental Orthodox Church. Who is this man? Gabriel was born in the village of Beth Kustan in 573 to 574 and became a monk at the monastery of Cortman. He was ordained a deacon. Gabriel was elected head of the brothers of the monastery. He was ordained as a priest in 618, 619. Y'all can do your corollaries. Gabriel succeeded Daniel Uzuzu as abbot and bishop. Following the Muslim conquest of Mesopotamia in 639, Gabriel likely negotiated the rights and obligations of the Syria Orthodox Church in Tur Abin with his Muslim conquerors. Okay, so the Muslims are fighting the Byzantines, but Gabriel, he negotiates his rights, meaning taxes and stuff, with his Islamic invaders. He also may have met with the Caliph Umar during his time period, right? They don't want to say the Prophet Muhammad. They want to say with Umar. 7 miracles are attributed to Gabriel during his time as a bishop, including the resurrection of a son of a widow in the village of Sagam, a boy from the village of Olin, and his friend, the abbot of the monastery of Cross. This dude resurrected 3 people, at least 3 people. Now it gets even worse. According to his hagiography, at the age of 70, Gabriel sent men to transport a large stone at Beth Debel. Everybody knows this can't be the Kaaba. But Gabriel sent men to transport a large stone, whatever that is, to the monastery of Kortim. However, they were forced to abandon the stone due to its size. Gabriel ordered the people of his monastery to help transport the stone, and at the same time at which the dead rose to help. So the dead helped raise the stone with human beings. The stone was moved to the dome of Theodora at the monastery, and Gabriel begged the dead for their forgiveness. At 644, Gabriel became the bishop, blah, 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 blah. And then there was a big plague in 74. They dug up his ass, right? Cut off his right hand to help ward off the damn plague. Now,
wow.
This Saint Gabriel speaks to Umar, the second caliph, reigning until 634, until his assassination. I'm going to leave it there. Y'all have a good...
Jeez.
Y'all have a good life.
Jeez.
Greetings, my brother. Greetings.
Gabriel. Hold on, let me get my brother.
He dropped the mic.
Let's get him in. What's good?
Greetings. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes. Yeah. So I'm Thorpe the Atlantic. I'm the real Thorpe, and I will be the equivalent of Jesus coming in this time. What I wanted to explain is that
hey, Kalam, I gotta leave. I'm out of here. Peace.
the myths are not fake. What the myths are the explanation of reality in the perspective of the humans that lived during this time. So if you understand reality,
Good speaking with you, brother.
And then you could map your understanding of reality to their perspective, then you'll be able to use their perspective, the myths, the pictograms that's on the walls to understand reality and fill in. It's very detailed the way how they have it written out. So what you need to understand is that reality is actually fractal. So the reason why you think that Christianity copied the knowledge from Kemet is because the knowledge repeats itself. So the knowledge itself actually comes from nature. The reason why Kemet excelled is because there was more nature in Africa. Nature was more generous in Africa, and they was able to learn more. The same lessons that they'll learn from Kemet, they'll learn from anywhere else on the planet, because the same structures, the same functionality, the same nature is the same everywhere, pretty much. So their interpretation of nature is just going to be in accordance to their culture where they're living. They're going to use different words, different references, but it's good. They're going to be saying the same thing because nature is nature. That's all this is, and the reason why the people are not really getting what the Bible is saying or what any of the text is saying, it's because they're not thinking holistic. They're only thinking with one side of the brain. And in order to change that, you need to change your mindset to where you actually become aware, to understand and really think what you're actually doing and what you're actually researching to get a sense of the whole, and not just, because what happens is that with these religions, you're only getting a fractal, you're only getting a fraction of the actual understanding. So if what ends up happening is that people become gun-ho about their religion, and they believe everything else is wrong and only their religion is right. And that is what stops them from understanding that everything else is right. It's actually all the pieces, because the way how it is it's the same asar. All the religions are the equivalent to a SAR's body being split into 14 pieces. So in order for you to understand reality using religions, using these texts, you have to put them all together. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing with the races. The races are asar. Asar splitting apart is explaining reality, where it's telling you that reality splits itself apart and then slowly comes back together. See, that's the Big Bang. That's everything. That's the races. That's the different species you have, where everything splits up and then it slowly comes back together. Human beings are the combination of the different life that's on the planet. That's all it is. It's the bacteria that comes up into a community. See, that's all it is. See, people think that what God created was human beings. God created the little micro things. Those were the Adam and Eves. Those Adam and Eves come together over time and through evolution is what made human beings. That's the creation which is continuing to create that created us.
I got you. So, family tree, listen. I don't think we've got long left, you know. It's almost midnight over here in the UK, right? I know you lot want more, but you know what? The only way you're gonna get more is if we get some. Can we get some super chats? Can we get some cash apps? I don't know. Can we get something? Show us that you want more Titans TV to be on air. We're taking as little as $1 a donation. Can we get $1 donation in here, family tree? Cash app me $1, please, family.
Shoot my brother Kalam some paper, just a
Brother,
little bit.
Jeez.
Brother
Just a
Titans, I'm about to say goodbye, but all I know you by is Titans right now. So
okay, it's Kalam.
All right, Brother Kalam. Thank you for allowing me to come up and kind of explain myself. Wanted to clear that up. Appreciate the ability to come on the panel and express myself. Brother Asar, it was beautiful meeting you. Brother Garfield, Brother Reggie, everybody, Brother Morpheus that was on the panel. Thank you for the build, the light, the truth, the love, the knowledge, the wisdom, and the understanding. Peace and blessings, all.
King, if we wanted to reach out to you, how would we be able to reach out to you?
You can hit me up. I got a channel by the same name, Cosmic Sankofa. And then my email is the same, cosmicsankofa@gmail.com.
Hold on one second. Don't go anywhere. Let me get
I'll say while we wait and you display that. You see, the brother came on and he said something that I originated on this platform over here. Remember, they asked us, my Christian brothers and my Muslim brothers said, if you didn't have a book, what would you do? What would you use to tell your story? And I explained to them that the nature would break the story down for us, right? Mm-hmm. And then I explained a mythos through the nature so they understood I didn't need the book. We did that right here on this particular platform. This is where it started at.
Yeah, that's actually what happened to me. When I awoke in that stuff, I had no idea about Africa and all that stuff. But I actually lived what was going on. And it wasn't until 2019 somebody told me that the stuff I'm telling them is already documented in Africa. And that's how I understood what I already lived through.
Absolutely.
Family tree. Let me know if you lot are here with me. Again, this is our good brother Cosmic Sankofa's channel. I believe we got roughly about 100 people here live with us right now. The good brother goes through a few things, yeah? From the origins of Islam to more clarity, yeah? I think this is the clarity of the Hatshepsut, I believe. Is that what you're clarifying here on this video?
Yeah, it was me just going off. I was kind of yeah, brother.
Oh, Times TV, we gonna be in trouble. I listen.
That was me. I was like, anyway, that's what that was, brother. We already been through that. So
hey, we're gonna, we're gonna get you on some more actually on here on Times TV. Hopefully, everybody who's tuned in right now, please, I want you to support the brother. Go onto his channel and hit the subscribe button. Okay, this is what we do on Times TV, right? We support everybody within inside of the community. Let's get it.
Much love, appreciate that. Light and love to all.
I'm gonna step off, brother Kalam. We see you, brother Jehudi Atlantis. Respect to the panel, respect to London. We love you, London. You're live.
Much love, London.
London in the building, baby. Okay. So yeah, family tree. Listen, it's been like a very, very good show. What I'm gonna try to do is be a bit more consistent, right? So next week, Monday or whenever, okay, I'm gonna do shows between Mondays and Thursdays. Hey, the sister Carbon Empty Unct just showed some love to the family and actually sent over a Cash App. So if you like the Cash App, baby, the Cash App's down below. Show your love, show your support. We'll get more shows like this and better production on with as much support as you lot can give. The better the shows will actually be. So yeah. What am I saying? Listen, I'm loving it, though. I'm loving it. This was a really good show. It's a really good show. We had Garfield come on. We've got brother Reggie coming on. We had brother Cosmic Sankofa, and of course, brother Asar. It's been a good show. It's been a real good show. And I want to do more shows like this where we can get panel members to come on and discuss certain topics, right? So we've done Christianity and Kemet. We always do Islam as well. So for my Muslims, I don't know. Where's my Muslims at? Is there any Muslims in the comment section? Drop a 1 if you're a Muslim. Only if you're a Muslim, drop a 1. If not, everybody keep quiet. Yeah. So we can get some, Islamic shows done as well. And I like Christianity. So I want to do more Christianity shows and more Kemetic shows, right? That's what I would like to do. Let me just quickly see. Christianity was copied from Kemet. Wait a minute. Do you realize, so far, correct me if I'm wrong. All right. And if you don't want to come back onto the panel real quickly, let me know. So far, I have not seen anybody demonstrate the copying of Kemet from Christianity. As of yet, there is nothing. The best thing we had so far was our brother Cosmic Sankofa and said there was an intellectual lineage of some sort that comes in from, like, obviously the Greeks into, from the Egypt and from the Greeks into the Gospel of John. All right. He showed something of that nature. All right. I didn't argue it. I haven't critiqued it, but that was something that I would like to see. Sounded good. It sounded good. It's up to you guys now to come on and say, no. I don't even know about that, Cosmic. I don't know about that. But so far, he was the only person that actually demonstrated something. But can anybody else demonstrate some form of copying from Kemet? Resurrection. We couldn't show a copying from Kemet into Christianity. We couldn't show a virgin birth from Kemet into Christianity. Right? It wasn't that. So what can we show that Christianity copied from Kemet? What can we show? I don't know. You let me know. If I was trying to be, facetious, I would say, the name Jesus is copied from Kemet. The name what? Jesus is copied from Kemet? The Hebrew name Yahushua was copied from Kemet. Did you not know that? You see, that's the type of thing I'll be going through. That's what I will be going through. I'll be going through. How so, Callum? Oh no, man. Oh no. Go and research that one. Innit? You have to go and research that one. You have to go and research that one. Again, here's the link. Actually, let me just do the link, just so I can just cause a little bit of controversy. I want to cause a little bit of controversy, stir you guys up a little bit before I say, you know what? Sorry, we ain't got enough time to do anything more. Let me stir you up a little bit. Let me stir you up a little bit. You know, my brother Asar is saying, what's my brother Asar saying? Where did I saw something good actually? Where was it? The Greeks took from Kemet, then everything else took from Kemet. Jeez. There you go. Okay. Let me quickly see what else am I missing out. What else am I missing out? Yeah. You know, I would have done something like that. What else? I would have went like the miracles of Jesus was copied from Kemet. I don't know. You let me know. But yeah, family tree. Next time, family. Okay, this is primarily to do with Christians, you know. So if we can get some Christians next time on the panel, yeah, to jump on in and go at it with our Titans, that would be wonderful. Isn't the virgin birth of Heru a copy? No. Heru didn't have no virgin birth. There was no such thing as a virgin birth with Heru. Unless you're going to tell me Isis or Aset was a virgin. She was married to the king. And she consummated that marriage with the king before he died. He ruled a good amount of years in Kemet. And you're telling me after they had married, they never had sex? Can we get one primary source? One single primary source that Isis or Set was a virgin. Just one. Just the one. I don't need plenty. I don't need plenty. I just need the one. There's nothing like that. So where are we getting this from? Me personally, I would say the gospel writers borrowed from Philo. If, when we're talking about virgin birth, the first concept of virgin birth, parthenogenesis, you can find in Philo, a Jewish writer in Alexandria, in Egypt. That's where I would go. Personally, if it was me having that type of conversation and discussion, because everything else you're going to lose. You're going to lose. There ain't no such thing as virgin birth. If Kemet, as somebody quite clearly came on earlier on and said, Kemet dealt with nature and observing nature. Where in nature do we see virgin births? Virgin birth is even a contradiction. It's a contradiction. Because how can you give birth without having sex? I don't want to say it's an impossibility. I don't want to say that. But I will say it's an impossicant. It's an impossicant. But within inside of Christianity, there may be a case. There may be a case. There may be a case. Whoo! Revelation says Joshua comes from the Hebrew name Yehoshua. And the first time we encountered the name Yehoshua, we got it from who? We got it from Moses. Changing Yehoshua. Who? Changing Yehoshua's name. An Egyptian name of Joshua or Yehoshua into a Hebrew Kemetic name. Imagine that. Moses, who supposedly has a Kemetic name, changed another, his successor's name from an Egyptian name to a Hebrew Egyptian name by adding the prefix or the theophoric prefix to the name of the Egyptian name Hoshua. Imagine that. Imagine that. We're just going to bring a little something just to, spice it up a little bit, But again, we're going to have some more shows coming up. But of course, we need to just spice it up. Come on, baby. All right. Light says here, let me just quickly see. I'm just going to read out some comments. Just keep it interesting before. Remember, we're closing down. We're closing down. says here, light. The birth of Heru is the same as Jesus, and we know Heru was around thousands of years before Jesus. The birthday of Heru. Again, family tree. Okay. Again, remember here on Titans TV, right? We have a simple maxim. If ye are truthful, provide your evidence. Meaning every single claim we make, right, on Titans TV, generally speaking, is backed with sources. We love sources. It's the only place that you'll come on, right? And there is a ton of sources always cited. This is what we do. This is, our USP. This is our unique selling point. We like to show primary or at least secondary evidences of any claims being made. And now the burden of proof for anybody who says Heru's birthday was the same date as Jesus's birthday is to provide the evidence where Heru's birthday was the same as Jesus's birthday. And remember, Jesus's birthday is not the same day in every single Christian culture and throughout time of history of Christianity. What I mean by that, there was various different dates that was proposed to be Jesus's birthday based upon scholars trying to calculate Jesus's birthday, right? And some became a tradition within certain cultures. Even today, in other cultures of Christianity, Western Christianity, December the 25th, right? Christmas time, right? Yeah, we got that. But in other cultures, Egypt, Ethiopia, for example, his birthday is when? It's in January. Is it January the 2nd or the 7th? I can't remember. It's in January anyway. It's January. So it's not exactly the same. So was Horus born in January or December? Or neither? You see? So before we make these claims, we have to provide the evidence. Let me go through a little bit more. Real quickly. Let's quickly see. Let's see. Therefore, the Lord himself will give you a sign. Behold, a virgin will be with child and bear a son, and she will call his name Emmanuel. God is with us. Okay. Let's see. The 25th of December is when Heru was born according to the Kemet ancestors, and that represent the birth of the son after it was gone for 3 days. You have to say which ancestors, my brother. I love you, my brother. I love you. I love you. I love you. Trust me, I do. I love you. I do. I do. I do. I do. Okay. But what we're gonna do, and I'm not saying you're wrong, I'm just saying you have to provide your primary. Provide the evidence, my brother. Provide the evidence. Okay. Christians don't know so-called Jesus' birthday. That's another claim. Jesus don't have a birthday. We celebrate the birth of Christ, not birthday. Ooh. 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 That sounds so philosophical. I love it. Jesus don't have a birth date. We celebrate the birth of Christ, not birthday. Interesting. Interesting. Sorry, he was born in spring. Let's get it. Peace. Peace to you as well. All right. The family tree. Right? I'm shutting down right now. I just wanted to stimulate some thoughts before we went. Let me quickly think. What other thought can we stimulate real quickly? Yeah, man. So this whole copying, Christianity copied from Kemet. Christianity copied from Kemet. We have to find something. Okay. So most of the Kemetic proponents actually say that Jesus Christ, is created or it's a myth. It's not actually factual and real. Then there's the other side that says, he's a historical figure. So now if Jesus is a historical figure, we have certain sayings of Jesus. I'm going to ask the question, what sayings of Jesus is inside of Kemet that they copied? Right? What sayings inside of the Bible? So you usually have the red letter Bible. These are the sayings of Jesus. So what did Jesus say that is copied from Kemet? That is my question to ask. And then it's like hadiths, right? It's the sayings and actions of the prophet. So we got the sayings within inside of the Gospels, right? But now there's the actions. What actions inside of the gospel is copied from Kemet for those who make the claim? Then we have the traditions of Christianity, right? We have the traditions of Christianity. So, for example, we have the sacraments, we have the breaking of the bread and giving of the wine, or the body and the blood. Can we find that in Kemet itself? Is there a trace of that in Kemet? There is the baptism. So these are the traditions, these are the practices. Okay, so we have the actual praxis as well. So we've got the sayings, we've got the actions, and we've got the praxis or the practices, right? Do we find that in Kemet? Do we find this secret society within inside of Kemet? Early Christianity was a secret society. It was very secretive. Jesus even taught in parables and explained most of his teachings in secret to his disciples, who themselves didn't understand it at times. So do we have these secret practices inside of Kemet? These are like further questions that we should be asking, right? Then we have, the stories, the gospel writings, for example, right? So we've got the things that we have, the things such as the sayings and actions of Jesus. We've got the practices and the traditions, okay, that is embodied in Christianity, but not necessarily inside of the Bible itself, right? And then we actually have the gospel writings. Are the gospel writings influenced or copied? Because when we see the gospel writings, we see that they are propaganda material, and they're also supposed to be biographical. Yes, the genre would be a biography, right? Does Kemet have biographies? That's another question. Does Kemet have biographies? That style or mode of writing, does Kemet have? And is that copied from Kemet? Or is that style copied from Greco-Roman biographies? What other materials, literature that was written in and around that same time period of the first century BCE, second century BCE, first century AD, and second century AD? During that time period, can we see any other literature that's similar to the New Testament writings, i.e. the Gospels? Is it influenced, copied? Are they influenced by that same genre of writing? Do they copy from it? Do they take motifs and themes and mores from it? And if so, is it Kemetic or is it something else? I think we have to start going a little bit deeper. Because so far, I'm seeing a lot of lookalike scholarship in terms of espousing that Christianity copied from Kemet. Look, there is a cross in Kemet. It's called an Ankh. But there's a cross in Christianity and it's called a Tau cross. They look similar. Therefore, Christianity stole the cross and removed the looped head that made it an Ankh. And the looped head represents the vagina or the womb. Therefore, Christianity stole from Kemet. Maybe. But I wonder, did the Cometians even say that symbol actually came from the phallus is the longest bit, and then that bit there is the womb? Did the Kemetics actually say that at all? Or does the symbol represent something completely different? I'm not even gonna say nothing. I ain't saying nothing about that. I'm just saying, isn't it? Like we do this lookalike scholarship. We do a lot of it still. Osiris rose from the dead. Jesus rose from the dead. Therefore, Christianity copied from Kemet. Maybe. I don't know. Did Osiris really get resurrected? That's the question. Did Osiris really get resurrected? Did he come back alive? Was he walking and talking and eating bread and fish and swallowing, whatever drinks it was, and appearing to people and floating up into the air and all these things here? Did he do those things? I don't know. I don't know. Is that what the myth of Osiris was there to represent? I don't know. We need a primary for that. Can we get a primary? For that? Was the resurrection of Jesus Christ a physical resurrection, or was it a spiritual resurrection? Let's answer that first and foremost. Was it physical or was it spiritual? Was there an evolution in the resurrection? I.e., did the early writers, such as Paul, such as maybe Mark, hold on to a spiritual resurrection, and the later gospel writers had a physical, literal resurrection in mind, such as Matthew, Luke, and then culmination of it into John? Was there an evolution? And out of those two resurrections, right? Because early Christianity had two forms of resurrections. For those of you, the guys who don't know, you had the spiritual resurrection and you had the physical resurrection. So now, this is where it gets, real like, out of the two, which one comes from Kemet? Or do they both come from Kemet? Fuck it, mate. They both come from Kemet, mate. Because Kemet is the originator of everything, isn't it? So they both came from Kemet, didn't they? Huh? So no, like, is it one or the other? I don't know. Which one is it? Which one does Kemet teach? A spiritual resurrection or a physical resurrection? For those of you guys who belong to a Kemetic cult, or a Kemetic spiritual school, or a Kemetic mystical school, or a Kemetic fraternity, or a Kemetic philosophy, what does Kemet teach? Does it teach resurrection? Number one. Does it teach ascension? Number two. Right? Does it teach physical or spiritual resurrection? If it does teach resurrection. That's my question. And if it does, then which one did it copy from? Did Christianity copy from? Like simple things as I can hear you. When you get into other things, we can say, no, let me not even go there. Let's just keep it simple. Did Kemet create homosexuality? Did Kemet create homosexuality? Or is homosexuality something that is part of the animal kingdom? And humans being animals, did Cometians practice homosexuality? Right? We can't say Kemet created homosexuality. It's like saying, did Kemet create love or heterosexuality? It's part of humanity. It's part of the animal kingdom. Were there homosexuals in Kemet? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Was it socially approved in Kemet? Hell no. But there was still homosexuality in Kemet, though. Just like there is homosexuality in all cultures and throughout the animal kingdom. We don't like hearing these things, but these are facts. Okay. Kalama, you're asking a lot of questions, but not answering any. That's the whole point. I'm doing a Socrates right now. I'm being a social gadfly. I'm here to ask and probe, okay, and be provocative, and let these thoughts, just ruminate in your brim. So the next time we actually do have a show, you lot can come on in and join in. Like, what's good? Again, we're gonna drop the link. I'm closing down the show. For some of you guys who don't want to be here live on air, come on in, and hopefully more people will join in when we go off air. Imagine this: when we go off air, okay, you can hit the join button. You can even join beforehand, but we're going off air. And if you would like to carry on this conversation with like-minded individuals or people who are watching this, hit the link and join on in. Okay, cool. Anyways, family tree. Okay. I'm going to keep it moving. Okay. So it's been wonderful. And again, I'm going to catch you on the next one. And join on in. And we're going to have more of these shows where you guys can get in and actually have, conversations and debates with our Titans. We had Brother Reggie coming in. You can debate. Imagine that you could have literally come on in and have a discussion, probe the mind of Reggie live on air. Do you know how amazing that is? You guys could have come on in. Brother Garfield is having a debate with Jabari on this topic. Imagine that on this particular topic, there's going to be thousands of people tuned in. There's going to be thousands of people paying big money just to hear what they have to say and hearing the debates and the arguments. And you guys had the opportunity to probe the mind of Brother Garfield. Hopefully we get Brother Jabari in as well. But you had the opportunity to probe their minds. Family, don't take this lightly, This is big opportunities right here now, right here. This is why we have a whole section, called Talk with the Titans. On normal programs, the Titans come on, they talk. Like a TED Talk. I give my talk, round of applause, see you later. On here, you get to actually ask them questions. Not even just off air, but live on air. You get to critique them. You get to pull them up on something if you believe that they're incorrect. You don't get that anywhere else, I've never heard anybody pulling up Bart Ehrman, right? I don't hear that, or any other scholars out there that deals with religion. I don't get it. I don't hear it. When you go into your masjid and your mosque, I don't get critiquing the imam or nothing, or the pastor. Nothing like that takes place. But you get it here on Titans TV. Come on, family, man. Support. But anyways, shouts out. Enough love. Lou, do they have ancient Kemetic sources disputing Christianity? Do they have ancient Kemetic sources disputing Christianity? That's a very good question. That's a very, very, very good question. Let's not use ancient Kemetic, because ancient Kemetic would be, we're going into like 1000 BCE versus, so that's before Christianity would have been alive. But roughly during the 3rd and 4th century, we have something called like the Gentiles and others disputing or arguing against Christianity. It doesn't specifically say, the ones I'm thinking doesn't specifically say that they were Egyptian, just simply that they were Gentiles. So they could have been Greek, they could have been Roman, they could have been Egyptian. It doesn't quite say. But yet there are letters of disputes and debates that may have happened 5th century between, you know what, there are, I'm just realizing now, I'm remembering, there is a lot of documentations, mainly from the Coptics, that have debates / magical miracle feats that's taken place between the indigenous cults within side of Egypt against Christianity. And you can get some form of disputation that was taking place throughout, the years with them. But unfortunately, I don't have any source material to offer right now. I might go into the archives and actually find it for you next time we tune in. Hopefully, I can produce some of that documents for you. But it's mainly coming from the Coptic Christians and their disputes with the Gentiles or the pagans or the infidels or whatever you want to call them of Egypt, right? And it's quite interesting actually, because you get an insight of what cults or temples were functioning or operational still, and how it impacted, or what the relationship was like with Christians. Very interesting stuff, actually. Very, very interesting. All right, cool. Yeah. Okay, real quickly, did Kemet and Christianity exist at the same time? It depends on how you want to define Kemet, but yeah, it did. When we and how I'm going to define Kemet right now, Kemet would obviously be the ancient term of Egypt, of calling the Kemetic, of calling the people of Egypt. Even during the times of of the Coptic writing era and the Coptic period. They themselves call them Kemi or Kemet. Kemi. So yeah, it's the same word. So yeah, the Egyptians are Kemetics. But when we're talking about Kemetic, really, we're talking about that ancient practice and the ancient philosophy, rather than the watered down Greco-Roman / Christian, whatever was going on. So I would say yes, there definitely was these cults, because that's what it is. Some people take the term cult to be offensive, but Christianity was a cult. All religions really and truly are cults, okay, centered around the worship of a god or gods or human beings, okay. So yeah, there was traces of the ancient philosophy still running during that time period. We get it running during the time period of 5th, 6th, even the 9th century. It was still operational. A good book to read on that would be the Arabic Hermes. I believe it's called the Arabic Hermes. And it shows you that even the Muslims, or the Arabs, should I say, had the Coptic priests or Egyptian priests translating and giving them information about the temples, tombs, and Egyptian relics. Let me make sure I give you the right book first. Give me a second. You know, we like to source stuff. Goddamn, I'm not prepared. I can't source it right now, but I believe it's called the Egyptian Hermes. Okay, something along those lines. Type in Egyptian Hermes. Sorry, the Arabic Hermes. Okay, type in Arabic Hermes. Something will come up. Okay, and that will be a good source to actually read into. But yeah, family tree. Again, Parthian justice, Mary was a joke, but as far as environment, it dictates everything. Okay, cool. So, anyways, family tree. Again, we're shutting down the show right now. Okay. But yeah, Monday to Thursdays, we're definitely gonna have some shows. We'll have shows where you guys come on the panel, join us, and talk with our Titans. But yeah, family tree, I'm shutting down the show, so I'll catch you guys on the next one. Yeah, baby. Young Cali, baby. Oh man. TITANSTV.